landlubbers, it's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. And it's another Friday, and it's been 7 days since we played Raincoat, so two guesses what we're playing. And if you guessed Raincoat, then you're well on your way to eliminating all mysteries. Yeah, we played, like 3 hours, like a stream's worth last week. I've been enjoying the game so far. We made it, I'm going to go ahead and guess most of the way through the first mystery of the game, which is sort of a closed room, locked room mystery on a train. And just to catch up to speed, if you weren't here last week, basically we are Yuma Coco Head, which is surprisingly easy for me to remember compared to most Japanese character names. And we appear to be some sort of detective with the World Detective Organization, which is like some extra governmental organization that provides superpowered detectives to solve mysteries of all kinds with the motto of eliminate all mysteries from this world. The only problem is that we seem to have, for some reason, made a contract with a death god in order to exchange all of our memories for some supernatural power to help us complete mysteries in video game-like fashion. So, essentially what that means is we're going to take a train to a closed-off, like, corporate city to solve some mysterious circumstances there. The WDO is very keen to sort the area out because there's not much presence there, and there's a lot of mysterious circumstances as far as they're able to tell. But in order to get there, we had to take a special train, and when we were on that train, we found 5 other people. Which is problematic, because there were only supposed to be 5 total people. So after, our amnesia was a convenient plot device to learn some basic things about the case and the world around us, we took an unintentional nap after being spooked by the death god ghost who haunts us. And when we woke up, everyone was burned to death. And we don't have, like, a whole lot of information. But when the train reached its destination, some guy just, like, kicked in the door and was like, I think you're guilty of crimes! And then the death god was like, hold on, we got this. And then stopped time, created a portal into nothingness, and said that we're gonna go into the mystery labyrinth, or something to that effect. And I saved, like, right at a transition point to that. So I think we're gonna get that cutscene again, if I understand how stuff works, but I don't think that I do, which again is like a great reason to play a mystery game on a Friday where I'm emotionally at like a 4 out of 10. But I am looking forward to this game, so hopefully that works out. I adjusted the size of the camera window because I felt too big last week. I hope that's okay. I think this corner's still fine. If it's not, let me know. Let's continue. So as I said last week, I know like some vague details about this game. There was not a lot available through their trailers leading up to the release, and there's like a 5-ish year gap between its initial announcement and the game's release, so there's like a lot of time for information to come out. But the way I typically avoid spoilers by like not reading in-depth reviews didn't leave too much opportunity to do so. But I know that there's supposed to be some kind of RPG-like elements and even boss battles, which I think are probably a conclusion to each case, and I'm guessing that the locked room mystery on the train counts as our first one. Are we gonna address the chain thing? Is that like a metaphor? I would not be surprised to learn that Shinigami is like a little on the kinky side.
What do you think of my awesome powers? This is what you obtained in exchange for your memories, Master.
I like how extremely unhelpful that is, by way of explanation. What do you think of my powers? We're in a haunted, like, tomb in a parallel dimension, and now I have, like, the world's chokiest choker on. Is that power?
You did this, Shinigami? Is this why I made a pact with you?
Listen, there's no accounting for judgment. I just give the powers, that's all. There's an interesting motif we noticed in the first installment of the game that the bottom of Yuma's shoes have like glowing Tron arrows on them, and now that he's like a maze wandering superhero with a cape on, also Tron arrows. I don't know if that's significant or just like a fun thing to do.
I don't understand any of this. Where are we?
Simply put, it's an alternate universe. It's got that kind of vibe, right?
To my knowledge, not specific overlap with Persona, but knowing the way video game companies work, there could be some. But the creator of Danganronpa is the same creative force behind this game, and you can see similar like character design elements at the very least.
An alternate universe.
You don't sound surprised. Come on, it's awesome! You probably think it's cliched, huh? Well, this isn't any old alternate universe. Check this out! Ta-da! This is the Mystery Labyrinth. It's a maze that materializes mysteries from the real world.
Yeah, again, just looking at this does not, like, answer any questions or, like, instill me with confidence. This is all fine and good for the purpose of the video game, but there's, like, a weird conceit at play here where she's like, look, isn't this cool? And I'm like, it's like a big skull and kind of a lot of fire. Should I be excited about that?
Materializes mysteries?
Unsolved mysteries become lost to time, right? Well, here, they actually take shape as a mystery labyrinth.
See, that answers, like, kind of a question. Oh, wait, Sarah, thank you for the 36-month resub. Welcome to the stream as well. Death Head is a nice touch. I mean, it certainly deathens up the place, right?
Now, this maze is the materialized form of the unsolved murders that took place on the Amaterasu Express.
Now, one might think that it would bear some passing resemblance to the train, or the train station, or something in that case. It's kind of interesting that it's mostly skull and fire.
This maze is the mystery?
Why not?
I have the power to interact with this mystery labyrinth.
Also have the power of physics. I'm just saying, I didn't put it there, but it's there.
That's why we were able to come here in the first place. Anyway, Master, we're gonna beat the Amaterasu Express Massacre Mystery Labyrinth.
Cool.
What happens when we beat it?
In every case, there's a hidden truth, and we have to find the truth deep inside this mystery labyrinth.
And then what do we do, like, buy a dinner?
So, if we beat this mystery labyrinth, the truth of that case will be revealed. Naturally, so will the true identity of the killer. Now, let's solve this thing.
Unless the killer happens to be one of the members of the Fighting Polygon team, like in the Somnium Files games.
We'll discover the killer's identity too?
You couldn't solve it in reality, so we're solving it in this alternate universe. They're two sides of the same coin.
What an odd notion. Like, I get this, but it's a really peculiar idea. Because, like, it's basically a physical manifestation of the same problem. And, like, I don't know. I guess, arguably, you might find new information there. But I feel like, knowing what I know about Danganronpa and my impression of this game so far, like, we're probably mostly going to bring information that we found in the real world here and apply it to get to the end of the labyrinth, whether that's the center or the other side or whatever. But, it's just, like, interesting. It's like, well, you couldn't solve it in reality, so, like, we'll do it here. We'll do it live.
But whether or not you discover the truth depends on the person entering the labyrinth. The more complex the mystery is in the real world, the more complex the maze will be too. Killers in real-world cases throw whatever obstacles they can at investigators, right? Those are also materialized into the maze, so this is gonna be a tough battle.
I wonder what the implications of that are. Sarah asks where can one buy this sexy outfit? I imagine that she's got like a Death God tailor. Is my assumption. I'm guessing that's a custom model.
So, you're saying there are traps in there?
Yep, looks like you're finally getting it. Now that I've explained it all, let's head into the dungeon.
Oh, hold on. I don't understand any of this.
Seriously, you don't get it?
What? How could this be any more self-explanatory than it already is?
A mystery labyrinth is a maze based on a real mystery. This one is formed from the murder on the Amaterasu Express.
I like her irritated little stomping dance. Very good.
Yep, you're right so far.
So, if there's always a hidden truth inside a mystery labyrinth, if we keep going, the Amaterasu Express case will be solved?
Ah, Japan. Thank you for restating it for like a third time.
Yup, you totally get it.
What? I don't get anything! This makes no logical sense!
I mean, that's kind of a fair exchange on both sides there.
Sheesh. This is why you're a benchwarmer detective. You're in an alternate universe and hung up on details.
Hung up on details when it is both my profession and also my immediate task to apply logic to solve a mystery.
Of course I am!
Okay, I'll explain more about how it works as we explore the mystery labyrinth. If you have any more questions along the way, stare at my boobs for 8 seconds.
That might be the best tutorial of all time.
That'll make all your worries disappear.
I had something important I was gonna say, but I don't know I don't know where it went. It just evaporated from my head.
No, it won't! Please, explain everything now!
Oh, I like this game. Listen, I give the Somnium Files games like a lot of crap for their like weird interjections of horniness, but like this is right where I want it to be, I think.
Relax, relax. I'll tell you in due time.
I feel like Shinigami's like weird flirtiness is more akin to like Tama from Nirvana Initiative, the second Somnium Files game, which like I thought worked a lot better than like Aiba and Date, who are consistent characters in both Somnium Files games. At least in Somnium Files, the characters were mostly adults. Yeah, but like they honestly acted more like children. Like I feel like we're doing the like anime thing where everyone acts more mature than they actually are.
Come on, let's go. Time to unriddle this mystery labyrinth.
Which, you know, has its complications.
Sorry, I forgot to mention the important keys. Whoopsie.
Also, to be fair, if Shinigami is like an otherworldly death god, she probably is older than she appears. Just for the record.
Keys? You mean for opening doors in the dungeon?
Which, again, has its own problems.
Yeah, something like that, but keys in the mystery labyrinth are used to break through mysteries.
But what's that thing that they say in, like, the intro to Mystery Science Theater 3000? Just, like, take a deep breath and, like, remember it's a movie and sit back and relax or something. It sounds better as lyrics than if you actually remember it.
They're called solution keys, and they're essential to clear the mystery labyrinth.
So, where do I find them?
Solution keys are materialized clues for a case. Normally, you'd get them during the investigation. You kinda had to rush through the investigation this time around, so let's briefly review the case. For starters, try to recall all that happened on board the Amaterasu Express.
The Amaterasu Express? The Amaterasu Express is the only method of transportation in Kanai Ward.
Correct.
It's an automated, unmanned train with 5 cars. Its doors won't open while in motion, and windows are fixed in place.
Yep.
There were no stops before our destination, so the train kept moving until it arrived at the station.
Yep.
A monitor in the backup control room displays the operation log, and there was no record of the train stopping.
No, but the main electricity had been cut, hadn't it? It was like on backup systems.
Here's your solution key.
I have no questions. Wait, I remember how questions work. I have many questions. Okay, map of the train is apparently its own solution key. So then I guess that basically just means this is in my Phoenix Wright style court record. Sarah, I'd ask what questions you have, but I think I understand why you're whatting. Okay, thank you for the raid. How's it going? Oh, we also got another one. We got the... Oh, no, this is the route map. It's also a map, but it's a route map. And the operation log.
So this is a solution key. But why did it come out of your mouth?
I don't know, man. Like, chat's all giving me a hard time. And it's fair to be critical. It's weird, and it's Japanese. And it's probably not necessary for it to be quite as horny as it is, but I am enjoying this game. Decent session of Skyrim. Oh, what kind of build are you working in Skyrim, Alcadius?
What do you mean? So I don't have to use my hands. I worked really hard developing this method.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
You put thought into this?
You, like, planned to do that?
So that's how words and events you think are clues get transformed into solution keys. Let's keep reviewing what happened in this case.
All right, I'll do my best. The incident occurred inside the Amaterasu Express while it was still moving.
Right?
Including myself, there were 6 master detectives on board. Aphex and Poochie's abilities confirmed there were no other passengers on the train.
For some reason, we have the ability to, like, borrow or detect other people's abilities. It's slightly unclear. Kind of last name is Cocohead. Dude, I don't know. It doesn't sound Japanese, but then, like, some of these character names from the other victims in this case were, like, also, like, deeply fictionalized and, like, definitely not Japanese. Okay, thank you for the 71-month resub. Started a band named 999 megabytes, but we never got a gig. Very good, Arcadius. Pun resub classic. On a lazy build where you summon demons to do everything. That's like the first build I did, basically. It wasn't very elegant because I didn't know the game that well, but like I was all into summons when I started playing Skyrim. I think you'll have a good time with that.
And who died first again?
Now, the first person we saw die was Zilch something, that animal hat guy who I dislike, mostly just because I hate his hat very much. I also, for the record, peg him for the most likely culprit, even though he is alleged to have died first. There was some suspicious shenanigans.
It was Zilch, in the first car's infirmary. I noticed smoke pouring through the crack of the door, and looking through the window...
He was stabbed in this weird way where the knife seemed, like, way high out of his body. Like, it may have been, like, not, like, an actual stab wound, but, like, something to try and stage it. And then, like, 3 seconds later, he was completely burned to death. Not like he was on fire and we couldn't stop him. Like, 3 seconds passed, and he went from, like, dude with a knife near him to just, like, completely burned. It was very suspicious to me.
I saw a knife stuck in Zilch's chest.
We also saw something weird later where the last guy, Aphex, had a stab wound but no knife. And I feel like that's also related.
The infirmary was on fire, so smoke quickly filled the whole area. I hurried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge because it was locked.
Does that mean this was a locked room mystery?
I'm glad they drew attention to it, even though I've been pointing that out for a minute.
Not really. There's a chance the killer had a duplicate key.
I mean, the whole train is a locked room mystery because people couldn't get in or out of it. Like, that individual part, sure, maybe, but, like, the whole thing is definitely has the attributes of a locked room mystery.
That's no fun.
Anyway, I broke the door's window and unlocked the door from the inside to enter the infirmary. By then, Zilch's corpse had burnt to a crisp. I wanted to
Just
alert
like a
the others,
surprising number
so
of
I moved
keys.
to the second car, but I found Mellamy's corpse there. I think she was set on fire with the liquor in the dining car.
Ooh, a flambe! A human flambe.
Now, I get that you are, like, a death god, and so, like, that's, like, a funny skull joke. But, like, maybe read the room.
That reminds me, something was off about car 2. Right before the train entered the tunnel, there was a strange shaking.
I don't happen to remember that.
Isn't that from entering the tunnel? It's like air pressure. Wind stuff.
And there was a blackout right after, although it only lasted a moment.
Yeah. What was up with that blackout? Was there one on the other side of the tunnel too?
No, when we exited the tunnel, there was shaking again, but no blackout. There was something else too. Something that happened when we were in the 4th car.
I wonder if that's a clue.
There's a blackout and a shaking when the train car entered the tunnel. There's another shaking when the train exited the tunnel, but no blackout.
And the next corpse was the little girl in the 3rd car?
Yeah, it was Poochie. Another burnt body. Just like the first 2 cars.
Poor Poochie died on the way back to her home planet.
Oh yeah, wasn't there a secret base thing in the 3rd car?
You mean the backup control system? I remember something about that. The control system automatically manages the electricity within the train.
I mean, I don't mind the case recap, especially since there's been a week's break between what we've experienced so far and now. I'm a little surprised that more of this reasoning isn't on the go in the labyrinth. But again, I'm not entirely sure how the labyrinth works.
When the main control system fails, it will switch to the backup system after 1 second.
You may have amnesia, but you've got a pretty good memory. Anything else you can remember?
I did notice that the backup control system was actually operating.
So that's probably what the blackout was, right? Something caused the train to lose power. And then the blackout was like a second, and then the backup system kicked in. That sort of addresses both of those points. Still not clear on precisely what caused the failure. Probably intentional on the part of the killer.
And if the backup was on, that means the main system was down, right? What do you think about that?
If you ask her, she's just gonna throw up on you.
Well, the train never stopped, so it doesn't change the fact that no one could get in or out, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Next, you found the geezer's corpse in the 4th car, right? He was also covered in burns.
That's such an understatement. Everyone was very badly burned.
Was there anything strange about that corpse?
I mean, his phone was near him and totally functional.
He didn't have any external wounds, but he was holding the cell phone he uses for his photography ability.
By the way, since last week it occurred to me that, like, this isn't really the type of evidence that we were hoping would solve the mystery somehow. But this image of us drinking the coffee should actually help to exonerate us, because the guy on the train station in this moment of time we're frozen in is, like, accusing us of drugging everyone else. But, like, we do have evidence of us drinking the supposedly drugged coffee. So, like, makes us kind of a lot less likely to be using that to kill a bunch of folks, right?
Oh yeah, that useless ability. It's basically no better than a dash cam.
It's a pretty bad superpower.
Anyway, forget about the geezer for now. Don't want that old man smell haunting my memories. Next and last is the 5th car. Come on, try to remember it.
The body we found in the 5th car was completely charred. It was impossible to tell who it was. But the necklace around the corpse's neck confirmed it was Aphex. We also discovered a stab wound to the chest. Also, judging by things like the plate on the wall, the 5th car appeared to be far more burnt than the other cars.
It's an interesting way of putting that, but, like, again, everything was pretty badly burned.
Maybe the room ended up like that because the victim was on fire and running around trying to put it out.
Oh, and the blood on the interior lock of the 5th car's infirmary is an important clue, I think.
Now, one thing I'm not entirely clear about at this point is whether it's actually possible to miss any of these clues, or if the game won't progress until you have them. I was attempting to be pretty thorough, but I could see that going either way.
Uh-huh. So, I guess that does it for our review of the case?
Wait, there was something else. After the train arrived at the station. According to the Peacekeeper's report, they all burned to death. But that part seems off to me.
On account of the stab wound?
And they also mentioned there was a knockout drug mixed into the drinks in the dining car.
I have so many
I
keys.
think that's everything of note.
What a big catch! This should be enough solution keys to solve it.
It's a little weird to me that there's not some sort of magical sound effect to underscore the solution key vomit. But, like, saying that out loud, that feels like a ridiculous thing to expect for some reason.
But I still don't know how to use them.
Master, you worry too much. I'm sure it'll turn out fine.
Okay.
Solution keys are important to solving mysteries. Yours truly is important too.
Can acquire or update one by investigating the case and moving the story along.
Sure hope you got all that down.
Acquired solution keys can be viewed in the notebook menu. Try checking one out if a mystery labyrinth becomes too difficult to solve. There's bound... Yeah, so it's basically... Like, this is the court record. When it's listed, though, it does make me wonder if it's possible to miss them. Maybe to have to get them later or something.
Shinigami's Tutorial Corner!
Labyrinth skills are abilities that can help you clear mystery labyrinths. Acquire them by spending skill points, which you get when your detective rank increases.
Hey, Master! Do you need a power-up?
Labyrinth skills can be checked and acquired in the abilities section of the notebook menu.
Set whichever skills suit you best.
You can activate labyrinth skills by setting them, but it requires memory costs, so pay attention to how much memory you have left.
Time to head off in search of the truth. Let's solve this thing.
Will things really turn out fine?
Is this really okay? I guess there's no helping it. It's unsettling that the door has to close behind us that way.
So, this is the mystery labyrinth. It sure looks creepy. Hey, if we keep going, will we really get to the truth?
Come on, would I lie to you?
Unclear. I've known you for like 2 hours, and you used to be like a spooky ghost.
I told you the deepest part of the labyrinth holds the truth, right? So, let's go.
You're not wrong. That is a lot of stairs. Luckily, they're like downstairs, so, you know, we didn't have to go up them at least. Although we might on the way out, or maybe this entire universe will just destabilize when we find the solution. It's really unclear.
I'm so horny for mysteries right now.
Oh my god, what a good line of dialogue. Thank you, video game, for that one. Thanks very much.
You're... what?
Yep.
Better write this down.
There are places in the mystery labyrinth where the path goes on and on. You can't move on until the scene plays out, so keep following the path until it does. That's a weird playable loop. Playable loop? I don't know how easy it will be to get a voice clip, but that is sure appealing. Hang on. What's my menu? I have different save files in this, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we're gonna start. I guess we'll just continue in order, but I'll have to remember that this will require some work, but it'll be worth it. While we're here though, abilities?
Pay attention!
In abilities, you can check master status and acquire and set labyrinth skills.
Be skimming over this.
In status, you can check detective rank points and the effect of
Hey,
skills.
Master, do you need a power-up?
It can be acquired by picking A skill mass you want? Don't you need a doctor to, like, lance that or
Set
something?
whichever skills suit you best.
You can activate skills by setting them, but it requires memory cost. I feel like this is the same pop-up as before. I don't know why it's, like, new. So, I made it up to level 5 by, like, looking at everything humanly possible. As you can see, I have stats. I have what I think is listed as stamina, which appears to be health. And I have strength and evasion. And my memory cap is increased to 4. So, in order to be able to unlock anything else, I have to get this health boost. So I guess I'll do that. That will take 1 skill point. Equip it. Yeah, I got 4 slots available, so sure. More health. Alright, now I want to read these. They might tell me about what's going to come up. In reasoning deathmatch sequences, shorten the assist ability's recovery time. I don't know if assist is like cheating or like a thing I desperately need. More stamina. Midsummer Night Feed. In Shinigami puzzle sequences, remove 1 solution key. Shinigami will barf up. For some reason, that sounds like I want that. Yeah, equip that too. Keymeister. In solution key selection sequences, remove 1 incorrect solution key. Asterisk. The number of selectable solution keys cannot be 1 or less. Endless Summer. During Shinigami puzzle sequences, slow down the rotation speed of Shinigami's barrel. What on earth? I feel like I want that. I feel like I want that because it sounds like a timed puzzle that I don't want to do. Give me that one. Yeah, equip that too. That's fine. This is it. Summer Fireworks. In Shinigami puzzle sequences, break 2 incorrect letters on Shinigami's barrel. Cannot be less than what is required for the correct answer. That would be pretty funny. Okay. Sure. So I still have 1 SP left over. If for some reason I want to get one of these other things later, but I feel like it's a good starting point. So the game intimated I was in a playable loop. A little unclear on exactly what that means. I guess that just means that the environment's gonna do fancy cool stuff until I hit a dead end. That looks pretty rad. I'm into it. Got there, I think.
Hey, did something move just now?
Oh, that's a cue.
Is it?
Q? Is that a monster living in the Mystery Labyrinth?
Nah, it's John Delancey from Star Trek. You know, Q?
They're not exactly monsters. Q are part of the Mystery Labyrinth itself. They're what materialize the mysteries.
Oh, so they built this whole universe for me? That's cool. Can I give them a high five?
Q have no intelligence or autonomy. All they do is manifest the mysteries in the labyrinths.
Do they also not have hands? That would make it a lot harder to high five them.
But since you are here to defeat mysteries, they're kinda like obstacles.
Oh, well then maybe I'm less inclined to high five them.
So in other words, they're the enemy.
Of course, as a detective seeking the truth, mysteries are your greatest enemy.
This is such a bizarre philosophy this game has. It's not wrong exactly, it's just weird. Still like a little unclear as to exactly what all is up. Like, when she introduced the concept of the Q, I thought I was gonna have a battle or what have you.
Hmm?
Oh, it's a
What
little
is that?
skull slime guy. Yes, murder all mysteries. Including this one. Oh, he looks like the investigator who has money written on his teeth, like a normal human Earth person. You look like you belong in One Piece, my guy.
What the? There are monsters here!
I mean, there are, but in fairness, he's also kind of like a monster on Earth.
That's a mystery phantom.
Nah, that's... That's a juggalo. That's what that is.
A mystery phantom? What's that?
I told you that cues make mysteries materialize, right? Well, if there's someone in the real world trying to interfere with the case, that person also materializes.
I mean, there's a logic to that.
That's a mystery phantom.
Interfering with the case? Hey, doesn't he kind of look like Swank of the Peacekeepers?
Hey, you know, now that you mention it, yeah, he bears a minor resemblance to that extremely specific-looking individual.
If the Peacekeepers are tied up in this, then maybe this incident has something to do with Amaterasu Corporation.
Looks like a guy you knew in high school. Did he, like, actually dress like this? Like, come into class? We had a little bit of that in my school, but mostly just by volume of, it was a very big high school. It would still have been considered, like, a bold look.
You're the culprit.
Huh?
He tall.
Since all the other passengers on the train are dead, you're the only one who could have done the crime.
This is apparently a reasoning deathmatch. You can tell by the CNN ticker tape scrolling. Literally, yes. That person had a girlfriend who wore a tail and ears to school. Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty high school, to be honest. You're watching you were helping your grandma cook. I mean, you mostly missed, like, tutorial and some pretty cool graphics. Not gonna lie. The way that they depict the like, looping sections in the labyrinth, it looks pretty cool.
So you're the culprit. That's the truth behind this case.
Master, he's trying to frame you to bury the case. If you can't get past this, you can't reach the truth.
This guy definitely feels like he'd be at home as, like, a prosecutor in Phoenix Wright.
What do? Should I just run away?
A detective doesn't run from a mystery. You gotta defeat him.
You have to murder the mystery. We've established this.
Defeat him? How?
Master, are you ready to give your life for the truth?
No, not at all.
Huh?
Just say, I am.
Are we doing Blue's Clues?
I am!
Do I get, like, a sword now? Oh, hi. Hey, she touched my face. I don't know what this is, but I like it. Weren't we solving a mystery? Oh, hi. Oh, the pink mark is a question mark. Not that I was looking at. Oh, buy me dinner first? Yeah, why not? That might as well happen. Listen, I've been playing this game for like 3.5 hours. I'm a big fan of
A
Uchikoshi.
sword?
You know this about me. I play a lot of his games. They're not all good. This is easily much better than Somnium Files in the entire, like, you know, 80 billion hours I've spent playing them.
I call it the Solution Blade.
Obviously.
It's a sword with special powers to affect things inside the Mystery Labyrinth. Use that to boom kill the Mystery Phantom.
Still don't really
Let's
get
do
the
this.
boom kill thing, but I'm gonna let that slide.
Whoa, slow down. How do I use this?
I mean, sharp end toward enemy. Run, go, fight, win.
I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually. Anyway,
Good luck not
the
dying.
damage you take here is nothing to sniff at. It's not like an injury in the real world, but still. The more and more your mind realizes you've been hurt here, oh boy, you'll wind up brain dead. It'll be game over, time to start from the beginning again. No one wants that, so you'd better be super
No
careful.
one wants that.
Come on, pay attention.
Traps and obstacles lie in wait inside the mystery labyrinth. Make a mistake while facing them, and Master's stamina will decrease.
Dead, Master?
It's game over when the stamina runs out, so be careful as you uncover the truth. Are we sure she's a Shinigami and not a succubus? No, not even a little bit sure of that, but, like, it's worth the risk, I think. I never know what's happening at any point in this game, but I'm frequently pleasantly surprised. Oh, is it... Are we good? Are we okay? You alright, game? I like that he's hyping no crowd.
I'll tell you a mystery labyrinth secret.
Alright, a bunch of tutorials about to happen. During the Reasoning Deathmatch, RDM, a mystery phantom will attack Master while making statements about the case.
Dodge, duck, dodge.
Getting hit by a statement means taking damage, so move up, down, left, and right to avoid it. Track it carefully and dodge. Oh, we'll see about that. Looks like you just move in any... You seem to move freely in 3 dimensions with the left control stick.
Come on, pay attention.
If you dodge a statement at the very last second, it becomes a daring dodge. The more daring dodges you make, the bigger bonus you'll get later. I don't know what sort of bonus. More experience, maybe?
Don't you forget.
The bonus for successful daring dodges is based on the max amount you can dodge in one cycle. Basically, there's a cap on how much you can get. Hey, Neko, welcome to the stream, and thank you for the resub. Well, thanks to Demolition for the 12-month gift sub, on which we are currently month 7. And welcome to the stream. You're just in time for our first boss battle that I don't know how to do at all. And yes, this game has boss battles. Don't worry about it. It won't make sense later, maybe. Or maybe it will. I don't fully understand this bonus thing.
Don't let any shady statement slip by.
Inflammable statements give you a chance to counterattack. Statements might contain a contradiction. Slash through it with the solution blade and fight back. So that's the rebuttal, and that's the top button. Because the Nintendo controller refuses to color code anything like a sane person would.
Master doesn't make mistakes, right? Right?
To expose a contradiction, you gotta pick the right solution key. The key is already set in the solution blade this time, so find the contradictory inflammable statement and slash it. Okay, I understand.
Slash those suspicious statements!
If you slash a statement containing a contradiction with the right solution key, you'll destroy it and damage the mystery phantom.
Oh?
Picking the wrong solution key or missing the timing means taking damage. Just some friendly advice from a sexy ghost. When did this game get a combat system? Just now! Right now! It is... So, here's the thing. I feel like the modern era of visual novels has sort of acknowledged that in order to try and be more mainstream, probably not mainstream, but more mainstream, it helps to incorporate some other element of gameplay. So, for example, you've got stuff like, you know, the escape rooms in the Zero Escape series, and you've got stuff like this RPG sort of combat system in this game, and you have the Somnium puzzles, or what have you, from the Somnium games. It's opposed to something like Phoenix Wright, which is more traditional, in that it has gameplay, but it's mostly just like adventure game inventory, like item combining for the most part. So I must dodge and then hit the red sentence with X. They've tried to make it easy. I have coffee in the dining car.
You're the culprit behind this case. You murdered 5 bastard detectives. That's the only explanation. Everyone else is dead.
The jump timing is rough.
You're the only one who could have done the crime.
And slash.
I'll slash through this mystery.
That's very Danganronpa. That's very much. I took a little damage, but I feel pretty good about that. The jump timing is...
There's no way I could have done it.
Mainly, the tutorial sort of gave the impression you would float freely, but it's a little more physicsy. The up is to jump over something, and it's not as forgiving as I might have expected.
I wasn't conscious the whole time because I drank the drugged coffee in the dining car.
Can I present the photography from the court record?
It's no use. Your deduction is wrong.
Who do you think you are, Silver the Hedgehog? Get out of here with that crap.
You were out the whole
Time for the solution
time.
key.
Looks like there are more solution keys to choose from. The number of keys will change between RDMs. Use the correct key and slash through the contradiction in the inflammable state. How do I actually change them? Solution key window is Y. Oh no, switch keys with ZL, which is the left trigger.
You better not be skimming over this.
If you use the wrong solution key, you take damage. Right. Everything I do will take damage. That's fine. Shinigami is a lot hotter all of a sudden. That's been happening for a little while now. She did. I'll since you came in late, Neko, I'll reiterate this. It seems important. She did say that if at any point during the Mystery Labyrinth, which is the RPG-esque segment we're in now, that if I had any questions, I should look at her boobs for 8 seconds, and then the question would go away one way or the other. This game is, as the game itself put it, very horny for mysteries, and I think that's very apt thus far.
Ridiculous! You're the culprit! You knew it was drugged. That's how you avoided being knocked out. The other detectives were drugged. And you went around killing them all. You're busted. You took the laced coffee and only pretended to drink it.
This is the truth.
I think that worked. If you didn't notice, I switched from
Zonda's photography footage showed me drinking the coffee.
I had a solution key for the testimony of the two detectives, which I think was basically just to imply that there were drugs because they drank the wine and the coffee and they fell unconscious. And I switched it to the photography, which was evidence of the fact that I drank it. You can see me drinking it.
That proves I wasn't faking anything.
I mean, you could take a photo of you faking it, but that's fine. Oh, he became Q's.
Did I defeat it?
I don't know, maybe.
See? No matter how weak you are, things will turn out fine, as long as I'm here.
He tried to frame me as the culprit.
Yeah.
Guess that's what Amaterasu Corp is doing. They want to set you up and call it a day.
I mean, to be clear, I feel like this is a potential pitfall of the motto, eliminate all mysteries as well. If you're only concerned with, like, making sure there are no mysteries, you may be coerced into rushing to the quickest possible solution rather than actually, like solving it. Yeah, there's to put it politely, there's some powerful physics in this game.
That's why the Peacekeepers barged in as soon as the train hit the station. They probably planned this.
So they knew what was going to happen. Then the culprit works for Amaterasu?
Or someone hired by them. Either way, the Peacekeepers want to hide who did it.
So the reason Control Headquarters didn't respond to the emergency calls was because of Amaterasu.
Probably. Now that we know what they're aiming for, we're one step closer to the truth.
And we're about to break. No, wait, no, that's Linkin Park. That's something else.
Let's keep this up and unriddle this mystery labyrinth so we can get to the truth.
You're awfully casual about this. My life is at stake here.
Let's go ahead and...
I understand now that the mystery labyrinth is the case's mysteries given shape. But what do you do here, Shinigami?
Simply put, I'm the one and only cutie that can directly interact with the mystery labyrinth.
What does that mean?
Progress you've made in the mystery labyrinth and solving those mysteries here. It's all thanks to me.
How are you able to do this?
I don't know what
Physics.
to tell you. I've always been able to do this, so I forgot how.
That's the prime mover logic. That's a Twilight Zone reference for the none of you who get that.
More importantly, you got drugged and knocked out. You are so pitiful, Master.
Ah, that's rude.
No wonder you're waddling around like a toddler.
I thought I was dizzy because I've got this weird ghost thing haunting me.
Huh? Making a pact with me won't make you dizzy.
Some other elements of the relationship might.
It just reduces your lifespan by a lot.
Yeah, that sounds
You're
right.
kidding, right?
Nah. Nah.
Anyway, who do you think is the culprit, Master? Do you have any guesses?
I'd really like to save, but even though, like, I should be able to... Wait, can I do that? Oh, I can just do that while there's dialogue up. That's my bad. I didn't think to try that. In the Mystery Labyrinth, it considers my character to be Shinigami, which makes a certain amount of sense. I don't know how many of these I have, but I must preserve save file full. It is important. I mean, my mom's perhaps rightfully throwing some shade at me, but like, do you know which episode of the Twilight Zone the Prime Mover is? It's not a super commonly played one. Even though we share the deep appreciation for Twilight Zone, I would not expect almost anyone to know that or the reference I was making to it. There's like a guy who like basically reveals one day that he had psychic powers his whole life, and his friends are like, "Oh my god, how did you do that?" He's like, "You can't do that? I just didn't realize other people couldn't do that." It's funny. I appreciate that.
If the drinks were drugs in the dining car, the culprit must have been on the train before anyone else.
Yeah, too bad we got there last and don't know the order in which people arrived. That might have helped.
Oh, so then all you have to do is ask around and figure out what order everyone got on board. Oh, wait
Ask
a minute.
around?
You can't, because they're all dead!
Skull joke. That's not actually a skull joke, but it's close enough.
You aren't taking this very seriously, are you?
I don't know, man. You can hate all you want. That's totally fine. I genuinely think the interactions between these two characters are very good. Coming up on some sort of door thing.
This place. Whoa. The path is forked in two. Which way should I go?
Both ways. Paradox.
This fork in the path is also a materialized mystery, so you should know which way to go if you solve it.
Oh, that's good.
First, let's clarify what mystery this is exactly.
Huh?
That's
how
actually
do you do
helpful.
that?
Like this.
Oh, good. She's got a scythe now. Yuma goes both ways. Well, game over.
Blood! Blood!
Ow.
Quit overreacting, Master. This is a mystery labyrinth. It's fine.
Even though you definitely die in here, and you die for real, it's fine for me to cut you with a scythe, obviously.
Anyway, take a look. I'll use the blood of the Truth Seeker as a conduit to expose the mystery blocking the path.
Oh, that's rough. Hey, can we present it as an anagram just for fun?
Is that a question?
Is the culprit one of the
She's
six
even
on the
stronger
train?
than my mom.
I mean, I think so, right?
That's the mystery standing in your way. You just need to pick the right path and head on through.
6 on the train. It must mean the 6 master detectives, including me, right? If I don't think the culprit is among the 6 on the train, then I should take the right path, which says no. But if I think the culprit is one of the 6 on board, I need to take the left path that says yes.
I don't know. My gut says it's zilch.
Which is it?
There's only one truth.
Questions relating to the case are asked in different forms inside the Mystery Labyrinth. Choose the correct answers and take me to the truth. What if the second knave is always lying? Then you ask both of the knaves what the other knave would say. That's how you figure it out, I think. Let's just do like a... Let's just... What do you have to say?
Then... Master?
Alright, I don't know, with my instinct. I'm ready to be punished by the video game.
So, you think the culprit is one of the 6 on the train, right?
I mean, I do.
Right here!
And then I just, like, catch on fire. It'd be sort of appropriate.
Okay, let's go.
That only works if you assume the knave who lies wants to kill you and the honest one wants to help you.
Can
I don't think
go
that's
through
true.
now?
My understanding of that premise is, like, if you ask what the other one will say, then the liar will have to say the opposite. And the truth teller will have to say the truth. But in both cases, it ends up being a lie. Because the liar can't say the true thing that the truth teller would say, but the truth teller would honestly tell you what the liar would say. I know, it's really esoteric. I promise it makes sense, though.
Oh, you got it right? Not bad at all, Master.
Cues again! The same cues, in fact.
Ah! Something happened! Why? Did I make the wrong choice?
It's trying to bury the truth again! Go get him, Master!
This loading screen is so sketchy. And then it freezes. Every time. Every 2 of 2 times. Very reasonable sample size.
Your deduction is wrong.
I'm gonna
Other than the
assume map is
sex
what I
on the
want.
train, you must have had an accomplice. You two committed the crime. In that case, it all fits.
Hold on. I want to see the train shows the train was comprised of 5 cars. Or testimony of 2 detectives isn't what I thought it was. Okay, so then this is what I want, and I need that thing to come back.
Even if you couldn't do it alone.
Okay, that's my bad. I probably should have checked
It was
that before, but I
possible with an
assumed from the
accomplice.
context I understood what that key was.
You created an alibi for yourself. By drinking the coffee and knocking yourself out.
Wait, why would that...
Right.
There's an accomplice, a murder would happen even while the culprit slept. Is there really someone else?
Your deduction is wrong. Other than the 6 on the train, you must have had an accomplice.
This is what I was waiting for. Slash this one.
This is the truth.
Two master detectives used their abilities to prove that only 6 people were on the train. If it was only one person, they could have been lying or an imposter. But 2 of them means there can be no mistake.
Wrong! Your reasoning is completely off.
Ad hominem. Okay, I'm not gonna make the same
What
mistake
good?
again. My keys are... the victims all burned to death, or, according to the log, the train did not stop once. So it is extremely unlikely that someone boarded. I feel like this is the one I probably want, right? I was gonna say someone just, like, got on the train or something.
Your accomplice just wasn't there when those two checked, but came aboard after that. So what if the windows don't open? While everyone was knocked out, you secretly stopped the train and let your partner board.
I'll slash through this mystery.
I think I'm swiping at those a little late.
The backup control room's operation log showed that the train never stopped. And the doors won't open unless the train stops. So it's impossible for someone to have gotten on during the trip.
Damn.
But what if the accomplice was a mouse, and Zilch had them do mouse crimes?
Looks like you're getting the hang of this, Master. You've learned to ruthlessly cut down any who stand in your way.
You make it sound like I'm the bad guy here. Hey, I was wondering, if the Mystery Labyrinth is trying to block people from seeking the truth, wouldn't it reject my answers, even if they're right?
That's not how mysteries work, I presume.
Or maybe the questions themselves could be lies.
No chance. A mystery labyrinth has no self-will. It can't lie or create things not based on the real-world mystery.
Right, so if there's an obstacle from the real world, it will be recreated faithfully. But otherwise, it won't actively try to stop you.
This place is a direct manifestation of a mystery. You can always progress as long as you keep solving it. In that sense, the labyrinth is fair. It won't cheat you.
I see. That's a relief.
By the way, about the culprit being one of the 6 of you,
Yeah.
how could the culprit commit the crime when all the other passengers besides you were dead?
Because it looks like super faked his death somehow. Did Zilch fake his death? So he used Aphex's body as a stand-in for himself. And then, maybe when the blackout happened, took the body past us, and then put it in the 5th car to represent both bodies? To trick us into thinking he was dead? I don't fully understand the logistics. It might have to do with his power since we didn't see it in action. But I feel like that's right. Or close. Do you like this effect? I think this is cool. The, like, limitless loop thing or whatever they called it. Uh-oh, this looks different again. It's planets this time.
Another fork in the road.
This is how we reach the truth. It reflects how problems are really solved, doesn't it?
I don't know that I would go that far. I don't exactly know what that means in this context. Problems are really solved by, like, having a demon attack you with a scythe and then choosing a door? I don't think that's accurate.
Well, I don't know if I've ever actually solved a mystery on my own. I don't remember it all.
It doesn't matter. You just need to solve the mystery in front of us.
I will never like this. Everyone was dead, so how did the culprit pull it off?
Say it.
Well, this is a pretty big difference. This time, yours truly is gonna help think it through. Alright. You just leave all the heavy lifting to your lovely mystery labyrinth guy.
Yeah.
Is that to suggest that she's gonna float over to the correct answer? Still thinking here. Don't choose yet. Guess I'll think about the opposite door. I mean, it's not correct, I don't think. Just gonna keep saving over that one save file in case I do get set back. I don't know exactly how this works. Actually, no, you know what? Okay, we have 10. That's probably good to know. Actually, if we have 10, we just keep cycling. That's a fun noise. Ba-ding, ba-ding.
Oh, I got it! Master, leave this to me. This has to be the right answer. Follow me!
Hey, wait!
Ah, there it is. The chain. Are we finally gonna address that chain? Sort of. The answer is sort of.
The culprit just played dead. Because if they did commit suicide after the crime, they'd be dead right now. And that's no fun at all.
That's a type of reasoning.
That's your reasoning? Oh, wait, what's this chain?
I told you we share mind and body. The chain is proof of that.
The chain is a metaphor.
Our relationship can never be broken apart.
Yeah, basically, Kessler, if they committed suicide, they'd be dead. Which would be helpful if we had established that they're still alive, but I think that'd make it pretty clear that they were the culprit to begin with, right?
That's terrible!
Demolition asks, when does she break out the whip? I think during all of the loading screens.
Please, you should consider yourself lucky you're being haunted by a cutie like me.
I'm not sure I want to know what the chain is attached to.
I'm so tired. I pulled you up here, so you can walk the rest of the way yourself.
I was fine walking most of this entire dungeon.
Didn't ask you to do that.
I was actually really uncomfortable with it.
So you think this path will lead toward the truth, right?
It's
kinda interesting-
This is a labyrinth. It's pretty common to encounter dead ends.
It's kind of interesting to me that they even...
Whoa, watch out!
Oh, okay. That sort of answers the question I was formulating there. So this is supposed to be a dead end, and they have her force you to make a wrong choice to show you what happens when that happens. But I'm genuinely surprised by that, because it really felt like there was evidence to suggest that Zilch was faking his death. If that's not the case, I feel like the game did a weird job of portraying what he was up to.
You see? What did I tell you? Dead end.
Don't sound so proud of yourself. You chose this path, Shinigami.
If it's a dead end, maybe the culprit wasn't just playing dead.
I searched all 5 bodies, and they were, without a doubt, dead.
I don't know. I still think there's some world in which it's possible that 2 of those were the same body.
Oh, so the answer isn't played dead. Let's turn back.
You changed your mind already?
Exploring all possibilities is an important part of beating a mystery labyrinth. I'm so awesome. By the way, I did say I can guide you through the mystery labyrinth,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not that good at solving mysteries.
Maybe it isn't that they played dead but reused the body. I mean, you could argue that, but the way the choice at that last fork was presented was played dead or committed suicide, which is a really hard divide. Which would suggest that the thing that I was suspicious of was probably not in any way correct.
You could have said that a little earlier.
I just want to help. I like when you rely on me, Master.
Anyway, what's going on in the real world while we're in the mystery labyrinth?
I gotta say, this I Dream of Genie reboot's like pretty scandalous, right?
Time has stopped on the other side. We're sort of set apart from the normal flow of time while we're here. In other words, you're still surrounded by peacekeepers.
So if we return without solving the mystery, we'll just be captured.
Yeah, captured with guns.
As a result, this murder case will remain unsolved and linger in people's memories as a serious crime.
And of course, as we've well established, it's necessary for us to murder all mysteries, so that's unacceptable.
Naturally, this mystery labyrinth will also survive.
Oh, it's interesting to establish that. Does that suggest at some point we will encounter someone else's previously explored but incomplete mystery labyrinth?
And that creates an even bigger problem.
Which is?
Leaving a case unsolved means that it will go down in history that way. The more bizarre a mystery is, the more it attracts people's interest. And the more people rack their brains about that mystery, the bigger the mystery labyrinth gets. Eventually, the mystery labyrinth would gain enough power to start affecting the real world.
Another bizarre notion.
It would implant insidious ideas into people's minds, creating more murderers and, in turn, new mystery labyrinths. Labyrinths can create endless cycles. That's why it's best to cut it off as soon as possible.
Hey, here's a question. If Shinigami is in fact Shinigami, or Japanese death god, why does she have so much knowledge and interest in mysteries in particular? Shouldn't she govern death in some meaningful way? Why does she seem so concerned about, like, people becoming obsessed with true crime podcasts and then becoming serial killers?
It sounds way more daunting than I thought.
We're finally back. The other route is commit suicide after the crime. There's no other option, so it has to be the right answer.
Sure feels like there's gotta be some middle ground between those two things, huh? Asks, do you think that originally one person died and then the remaining master detectives killed each other to murder the mystery? I mean, that seems plausible. I mean, if we're gonna jump straight from someone played dead to commit suicide after the crime, I feel like that could have happened. That seems more plausible to me. Beep, 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 beep. Alright, we'll call them poplars.
Careful. But to commit suicide after the crime would mean... After killing the other four, the culprit killed themselves, right?
Still
Is
means
that
that
really
it's...
the right answer?
The mystery labyrinth's roots represent logical deduction. If there's only one route, then it's the only possibility.
Look, I'm gonna
I
let
think
this
the only
slide
option
because...
left is the culprit off themselves. We just need to find that suicidal pest.
Because I like this game and all. But I definitely don't think that we've rooted out all possibilities other than the culprit committed suicide. I really just don't think that's plausible. This feels bad.
What's going on here?
Oh, now we're minecart. Now we're minecart. Why not
It's
minecart?
part of the mystery materializing. You just need to solve it. Come on, Master! Concentrate!
That's quite the kick.
Come on, concentrate, concentrate!
What the?
Who was the last person to die during this incident? The culprit.
This way! If the culprit committed suicide after the crime, then the last person that died should be the culprit.
Right, because they wouldn't be able to kill someone else if they off themselves already. Nice work! Come on, let's try again!
Who set fire to the dead culprit? Presumably them, right? The culprit?
It. Of course! The person who started the fires must be the culprit.
All 5 burned to death, so the culprit who died last totally burned themselves.
This just seems like such an outrageous thing to do without understanding their motivation.
Come on, let's try again!
Or who's the last person to be burned to death? It was Zilch.
Must be it! The one who burned the other four, then set themselves on fire, is Zilch!
Of those three, we saw the other two's powers, and also I've just been suspicious of Zilch's dumb hat for eternity.
Bingo! You did it, Master! But you know, setting aside the idea that the culprit was the last to die, why would it be Detective Four Eyes? Didn't we discover his body first?
Yeah, but it's also the only one we actively saw burn,
According
right?
to the Peacekeepers, the victims all burned to death, right? But when we first found Zilch in Car 1, he wasn't burnt yet. If that's the case, that means he must have burned to death after that.
Okay, I think I get it now. It's a big logical leap from where we started, but I think what they're suggesting is that when attacking the fourth victim, they fought back and gave a potentially lethal wound to Zilch, the culprit, and as a result, rather than being found out and probably compromising his entire job there, he lit himself on fire to conceal the evidence and frame us and complete the job or what have you. Hey Kronos, welcome to the stream. This is definitely the same game we were playing last week. It's not different in any way.
Although, everyone else we found after him had already died from burns.
It's literally a true statement, by the way. It's just that this part of the game is very different from the visual novel stuff we were doing last week, if you caught any of that.
Alright. So if they all burned to death, then the last one who died could be Detective Four Eyes.
I think the culprit killed everyone in the opposite order of how we found their corpses.
That would seem little odd to me.
Starting from Car 5, he killed them in order one by one, then set himself on fire in Car 1.
Only because the fact that Aphex had a knife wound suggested to me that he was last by nature of, like, getting in a physical altercation. Yeah, it's a little tough to pick up what's going on this far into the investigation, and also it's a weird anime game, but it's fun, you'll like it, I promise. Hope you're doing well.
So Detective Four Eyes is without a doubt the culprit, but he committed suicide, huh?
The door!
The last planet door was a decision room, right? I think? Was it?
Whoa!
No, the last room led to, or the last decision led to an RDN.
It worked?
See, I told you it would be fine. I'm such a terrific guide.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that the end of it?
I guess that's everything. Seems easier than I thought. What's wrong, Master?
Well, you just said it. Seems easier than I thought.
I'm wondering if that's really all that happened. Something about this seems off.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Mom. Say hi to Brother to Gamer when you see him.
It does? You think so?
Probably don't tell him about this game. He wouldn't believe it exists and also would criticize me for playing it. Not again!
Ah! What's going on?
Conclusion. Zilch killed the other four and set himself on fire.
Is this the truth behind the case?
There's only one door. No other options.
I still, like, the only thing that bothers me about this, because, like, I've really been on board for most of the nonsense in this dungeon thing. I just, like, this is, to be fair, this is the same type of thing that happens in a not insignificant number of Phoenix Wright cases, and I love those games. But, like, I feel like this conclusion makes sense, and we had to take a really big logical leap instead of using a bunch of evidence that we could have used to, like, get here. At one point, it was just like, I don't know, did he pretend to be dead? It's like, that seems pretty plausible based on what I saw. And they were like, no. So literally the only other thing is a wild thing that's not even a little bit true based on evidence available to you. Okay, I guess.
Maybe this really is the end. Kind of a simple conclusion despite 5 people dying. Well, I hope this was a helpful tutorial for you, Master.
I mean, you say it's, like, relatively straightforward for 5 people dying. But, like, isn't the truth of most of those deaths that, like, a guy just killed them? That's, like, not a lot of a mystery. The mystery was how did someone do it when there was only 6 of us on a train, and this answers that.
Wait. Mystery labyrinths contain all the mysteries of the real-world case, including things like misdirection, right?
Hey, Letters. This is indeed a very stylistic way to solve a mystery. I just started playing this game last week. This is called Master Detective Archives: Rain Code, which I refer to as Rain Code because that's too much to say. It's a new visual novel by the guy who did Danganronpa, if you're familiar with that. This game rules so far. Very big fan.
Which means this could be an attempt by the culprit to mislead us.
So, you don't think this is the truth? What makes you say that?
The fact that it's a wild logical leap.
I'm not sure, but I have a feeling the case isn't closed yet.
But then what do? I genuinely don't understand how the labyrinth works well enough to know.
If so, then this door could be a fake.
How can we tell?
If you attack it from range, then it can't, like, bite you as a mimic or what have you.
If you think it's fake, why not try breaking it? It'll be bad news if you're wrong, though. And I won't tell you exactly what will happen. I don't want to affect your judgment.
You've already affected my judgment.
In various ways.
I guess the only way to find out is to destroy it. How do I do that?
Hit it with a sword? I mean, this is tricky, because, like, I don't particularly like this conclusion, but it does align with most of my suspicions of the case. But the fact that this is a tutorial, and it's very strongly saying, like, you could just not go through it, I feel like I should break it, but I don't know what's gonna happen. It might hurt a lot.
So it was fake! It was the culprit trying to throw us off the trail!
You should have just quit while you were ahead.
It's rare for a fake exit to appear. This mystery labyrinth is way tougher than I thought. Master, don't let your guard down.
I like how quickly she went from that was too easy to this is much harder than I anticipated. Yeah, the stabs bother me too, as I mentioned before, but just like generally, it just doesn't... It's not that it's like an outrageous conclusion, but it doesn't tie everything up. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some legitimate, just basic science there too, like you suggest, Neko, is like, if you, like, I have a bunch of save files. If I destroy it, then I'll at least learn what the bad thing is to not do it again. Yeah, we must murder all mysteries. It's the one thing I've learned to be true from this game.
Make sure you drop your money before you drop dead. I promise I'll show mercy to your wallet.
I don't think that's true at all. There's a lot of reasoning death matches in this. Reasoning deathmatch.
I wonder if Master can even make snap judgments.
A to slash noise? Oh no. Mystery Phantoms sometimes throw out noise. These will obstruct your vision and get in the way. So use the solution blade to cut them down. What part is the noise? The pink stuff at the bottom that just, like, isn't, like, a real sentence? It's just kind of, like, crazed muttering?
Are you gonna remember all of this?
The more noise is destroyed, the bigger bonus you'll get later. So when it pops up in front of you, be aggressive and attack. This reminds me that I haven't been paying attention to trying to dodge as late as possible or whatever. There's not like an indicator on the screen, so I kind of forgot it was a thing I was supposed to be
Sure
doing.
hope you got all that down.
Bonus for destroying noise is based on the max amount you destroy in one cycle. Basically, there's a cap on how much you can get. Yeah, it started by saying, like, I don't know if you can remember all this. Agreed. Don't know if I can... Let's see. Hold on. Gotta start by looking at these solution keys. Knife in the corpse. The knife stuck in Zilch's chest was deeply embedded and could have caused a fatal wound. Mellamy's corpse discovered in car 2. It was burnt to a crisp with the face. I mean, I feel like knife is more likely to be the thing I want, so I'll start with that. So A is slash, X is counter, and Y is the thing I'm currently on, the change solution keys, like in a pause menu. So what I need to remember is I can use left trigger to switch, like quickly if I have to, but I have to use A to slash the thing, and X to solve the case.
It must be Zilch! The reason is obvious. Zilch is the only one who could have done the crime. He burned
I
the
literally
four
ran into
passed out
it.
victims, then set himself on fire, and died from immolation.
Flash.
This is the truth.
I don't know how I was supposed to respond to that first inflammatory thing.
Now that I think about it, Zilch's suicide by fire doesn't make sense. Because when I saw Zilch through the window, there was a knife in his chest.
Neko asks, do you get money from killing inflammable statements? You, like, the tutorial earlier said something about, like, you get some kind of bonus for dodging, like, the not inflammable statements as late as possible. And then it just said something this time around of, like, slashing the noise does something kind of similar. But I don't actually know what the bonus is. I don't think it was clear on that. It was just like, you kind of want to do it, I guess.
If he burned himself, then why would there be a knife stuck there?
Safekeeping.
Brat.
The better to see you with.
I'll answer you.
Show me those delicious solution keys. Pause menu. Infirmary in car 5 was locked from the inside. There was blood spattered on the interior lock or the knockout drugs. Probably the lock.
Knife stuck in the body? Of course I know why. Yeah, it was to knock himself out.
He's too busy focused on the noise.
So he would pass out easier. Then set himself on fire. Dying by fire is a
Yeah, you can
painful way
hold
to go.
down, but you can't hold
He
jump the
wanted
same
to
way.
make it less painful. The culprit has to be Zilch.
Come on.
I don't think willy-nilly isn't going to help anything. You think Zilch is the culprit, right? So, the game has not established that there are fake inflammatory statements, but, like, I have dodged a couple and have been unclear about that. No problem is why a knife was stabbed to his body. So I take damage from that, right?
Stuck in the body? Of course I know why. Yeah, it was to knock himself out. He stabbed himself so he would pass out easier. Then
I must just need to wait longer. I don't...
Dying by fire is a painful way to go. He wanted to make it less painful. The culprit has to be Zilch. He committed suicide by self-immolation.
Stabbed himself with the knife because there was no other way to knock himself out. Oh, that's what we're getting at? That's weird.
That's true.
That's just such weird reasoning. Like, only because it feels to me like there was a knife fight. Like, it just, from the beginning, the suspicious placement of the knife and the 2 wounds makes me think that there was, like, a knife fight between 2 people. At no point am I like, I'm sure he had time to knock himself out. I get that that's what he's getting at, but, like, my brain is just not processing it because I'm trying to do all these, like, QuickTime things. And, like, now that I'm actually thinking about that, that just seems like such a weird approach to this counter-argument.
The knife stuck in the body? Of course I know why. Yeah, it was to knock himself out.
Ah, dang it, I was trying to do this.
So he would pass out easy.
I'm just trying to get points.
Set himself on fire. Dying by fire is a painful way to go.
Oh, wait.
He wanted to make it less
now I'm just like, I'm so, like, distracted and tilted, and also, I was trying to do fast forward and hitting the wrong button, which was additionally distracting me. Something the game didn't tell me about, but is on the screen. So holding R fast forwards at any time, huh?
Of course I
At least in the labyrinth?
Yeah, it was to knock himself out.
I'll slash through this mystery.
You get credit for slashing noise with the counterattack? Because that would make my life easier. Because the whole reason I took damage on the last pass was because I didn't think that would work.
Drugged coffee in the dining car. That's a much easier way to pass out.
Is it a much easier way to pass out if he's been stabbed? Is it? Because he has to trek through multiple train cars to get to it. Also, a bunch of people are on fire. Alright, look, I understand I made this difficult, but I still think it's silly.
I see. So they're trying to mislead you about the cause of death for Detective Four Eyes.
Right. The Peacekeeper said all the detectives burned to death. But Zilch's corpse in the first car is different. To me, it looked more like he was stabbed to death.
So the Peacekeeper's report was a lie? But they had no reason to do that.
Didn't we establish that they're not trying to find the truth, that they just want an answer to this?
If they wanted to set you up as the culprit, they'd be raising questions by fabricating reports.
What do you even mean by that? What would they be fabricating? They just want to set us up, so they want it to be as, like, straightforward as possible.
Yeah, you're right. They all must have died by fire, after all.
Okay.
And for some reason, only Zilch appeared to have been stabbed to death. I get it. So that's what was bothering me. But no matter how hard I think about it, I can't seem to figure out what happened next.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little honest with you, that if we reach a point where the thing I proposed like 30 minutes ago is true, and the game tried to dissuade me of that by making a binary choice of something that was kind of close to what I suggested, versus like a wild supposition, and then we arrive back at that conclusion, I'll be annoyed about it, but it will also mean that we're basically playing Phoenix Wright.
Huh? Why's that?
I don't have enough clues about Zilch in the first car. I should have investigated it more after discovering the body, but I was too preoccupied with calling for help.
Whose fault is that, game?
So we're stuck right here. I don't see any other routes to break through this mystery. I don't even know what mystery we gotta solve right now.
You could try attacking me with a scythe again. That's worked several times so far.
But I do know there can't be a labyrinth without a goal. The truth is always behind a mystery. You wish you had investigated more, right? So, you think you'd have the answer if you'd done that?
Ah, okay. I think I see where we're going with this.
Huh?
Oh, fine. My secret weapon is so draining, I try to avoid using it as much as possible. But I just love it when you rely on me, Master.
This is a healthy relationship, I'm sure.
I have a bad feeling about this. What are you trying to do?
She's gonna punch me back in time, I think.
This is all for you, Master.
I have a feeling about this.
Huh?
Is that a lunch box? Oh my god, it's amazing. Best Christmas ever.
Ow.
It's like a Somnium, but there's,
going on?
like, actual clues in it.
I'm extracting your memory and materializing it inside the mystery labyrinth.
It's holographic memory, my favorite.
This is my super cute special weapon.
It's adorable, I love it.
See? If you investigate here, you might make some new discoveries.
Oh, the shock from all this is making my head spin.
No, the impact from all this is making your head spin. You were hit very hard.
You don't have any time to waste, Master. This was pumped out of that slow brain of yours, so don't assume it'll stick around for long. You have until the pain in your head clears up. Now hurry and investigate.
Wow, what a terrible night to have a curse. You can only try to carefully investigate something for clues to solve the mystery and save your life for as long as you can't think straight.
Got it. I'll hurry.
Oh, this seems bad. Can't save now? That's fair. Crime scene recreation, static and stuff. Check that cushion.
Huh?
Didn't look at that
This
before.
Cushion? Was it always there?
Oh my god, it's just like I suspected, like the whole time. The knife, like, wasn't far enough in his body, so, like, it was stabbed through the pillow.
Also, it looks like it has a hole in the middle of it. It was made
So
by
it probably
something
wasn't
sharp.
a lethal wound?
What did this? Oh, so I can get solution keys here too.
Does that mean we get to see her barf again?
You may have seen it, but forgotten. That just means you didn't think anything of it at the time. But it is in your memory, so you can use it as a clue.
You can do that? You're incredible, Shinigami.
Oh man, she's gonna be so cute and annoying about this.
Go on, keep complimenting me.
There it is.
This blanket is mostly burned, but some parts near the knife are unscathed. It doesn't look like there's blood on the blanket at all. But how could that be?
Burnt blanket that was placed over the corpse, but there's no blood on it. Yeah, I mean, people have been talking up the physics in Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, but I mean, I feel like these are
Oh,
much more profound and
it's
important
fading.
physics. The physics in this game, the physics on the far side of the over to the left physics.
I guess the pain is starting to go away too.
Looks like time's up. Well, did you find anything?
Yeah, I think I see the contradiction here. Although I'm not completely sold on it.
Come on, this is where you're supposed to declare, I've solved the mystery. Well, if you think you're on the right track, then I guess we should do this next.
You gonna throw up on me?
Do what?
It's for when you're stuck in your deductions. Remember what I said earlier? Every labyrinth has a goal. So even when you're stuck, there's always a way out.
Like a way out that I could seek? Like I could seek a way out?
And we're gonna find it by working together.
Working together?
Lay it all out, Master!
Is this the time for that?
Big titty.
Big titty. We're in the barrel now, I think. Wait,
Me
what's
gustan las tetas grandes.
happening? Okay, it's the Shinigami
Gonna
puzzle.
expose the truth together.
Okay. Yeah, right. Zero escape music intensifies. The Shinigami puzzle is one of my secret techniques to uncover the hidden truth. I'm a little worried about what happens when we uncover the truth. for monetization purposes.
What?
The truth is hiding somewhere in the letters on the side of the barrel containing yours truly.
Ready? Aim! Fire!
Read the question, then knock out the letters in the right order. Make a mistake and the time limit will be reduced. Okay. Detective Zilch's death was actually a blank 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 herring. Got it. Okay, understand.
The correct answer's somewhere inside your head, Master.
If you can knock out the letters in the right order, I'll be imbued with the power of truth and unleash a special move that'll open up the path. Uh-huh.
Master, it's time for the solution key.
By the way, if you feed me the solution keys floating around the barrel, I'll give you whatever hint comes to mind. Grab the key and bring it to my mouth. That's normal. That might as well happen too.
Don't you forget.
But there are some solution keys you can't get hints from, and if I eat one of those, the time limit will also be reduced. Okay, so what are my controls? X to throw the solution blade. A little unclear as to... So I'm doing this at range, and I'm throwing at the letters, and then I retrieve it? Is that correct? I don't know why there's zoom in and out controls.
Are you ready to play the Shinigami puzzle?
Actually... Oh god. I was hitting the wrong button. X is throw. How do I... How to make spin? Oh god. This is insufferably slow. I have a feat to slow this down, right? I've made this problem for myself. It would be nice if the R hadn't started, like, all the way over.
Nice! Go, go, go!
Oh dear. What is this game? Someone explain what this game is. How is this real?
Tick tock.
I'm trying, it's so slow, I hate it. It's too slow.
Great!
It's a red hair.
Oh no, I'm making him horny.
Team Rocket's blasting off again. Oh my god! How is this game real? It is Pop-Up Pirate. It's literally Pop-Up Pirate. I'm impressed someone knows what that is. I have played it. I bought the game even though I'm aware that it's like banned for being
right.
very dangerous
When
in
I saw
places.
Zilch through the window, it appeared as if the knife was stuck in his chest.
It appears in the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga like early on. And I was like, oh my god, it's so good. And I played it with one of my friends and we were like, oh no. This is actually, like, a little scary. Like, it's really easy to, like, harm yourself playing Pop-Up Pirate because it's too powerful. Because for those of you who don't know Pop-Up Pirate, it's a barrel with little slots in it. And in the middle, you put a little plastic pirate guy. And you take turns sticking little plastic swords in the various holes. And it randomizes one of them as a trigger to fire, like, a spring mechanism. But, like, it's a hefty little plastic pirate, and it fires with, like, some force. So, like, it's known to have, like, given children, like, black eyes and stuff. Like, it's not like a super safe toy. But I do still possess a copy of Pop-Up Pirate. It's at my parents' house. When I saw Zilch through the window, it appeared as though the knife was stuck in his chest.
In actuality, he
stabbed
stabbed
the
the
blanket
blanket
wrapped
wrapped
cushion.
to make it look like he had been stabbed.
Now, to be clear, did I not say this like an hour and a half ago? Or, like, summarize roughly this conclusion?
That's why the blanket didn't have blood on it, even though the cushion was stabbed through.
I mean, like, I didn't reach this point because I didn't have, like, a sexy lady to punch a lunchbox out of my head or whatever to get those clues I didn't have. But, like, I looked at it and the knife looked suspicious and I figured that it was used to fake his death.
Zilch's death was a red herring. It was meant to mislead us.
What's in the chest? Is it cool? Okay.
It's a new solution key.
If it was a red herring, That means he wasn't really dead.
Now here's the question I have in this moment, which is, if a solution key doesn't come out of Shinigami's mouth, is it properly a solution key, or is it just like a sparkling dungeon apparatus? Like says, I'm sure the only way that would happen is if a child holds their face over the pirate before he pops. Right, and? Is there a question in there? Children do stuff like that. I'm not saying I have injured myself playing it, or that I have felt as though that was likely to happen. But my friend and I were both like, this is sufficiently powerful so as to make one nervous.
Yeah, Zilch was faking his death to fool us. That knife was just to trick me into thinking he was dead when I looked through the window. But the Peacekeeper's report saying they all burned to death created a contradiction.
So the culprit was just plain dead. It's exactly what I said.
I mean, I will grant you that I suspected the suspicious circumstances meant that Zilch had faked his own death, and they're kind of implying that someone else did it using Zilch. Or maybe not. Maybe they're saying the same thing I said a while ago. In which case, I do refer to my earlier point of, like, we're playing Phoenix right, and I'm a little mad about it. But like a normal, slight amount of mad?
In a roundabout way, yes.
Which means that dead end in the abyss could have a new path now.
But I would actually like for you to explain the reasoning behind that, because the internal logic of the Mystery Labyrinth has actually been pretty good so far. But you had claimed that the labyrinth itself can't try to deceive us. So, are you simply saying that the fact that someone in the real world tried to suggest that wasn't possible changed the shape of the labyrinth? Because that feels like that's kind of cheating the point you made earlier. It's not an outright lie, but it feels like unnecessarily dishonest.
Let's hurry back.
How do I get back there? I had to take like a minecart. Can I get back in the minecart? Does the door just take me there? Can you just tell me the name of the movie you would like to see? Okay, we're doing this now, I guess. Is it gonna... infinite loop? No?
What's wrong?
It's too much of a hassle to go all the way back there. I don't want to walk anymore.
No, she's gonna do something scandalous and painful, isn't she?
Some guide you are. Besides, you're not even walking.
I despise effort and hard work. I want to head back the easy way.
I like Shinigami more than I want to.
Oh, I know! I have a convenient transportation method, thanks to my awesomeness.
I'm very worried about
It
this.
lets us go anywhere you've been before. Now is the perfect time to use it.
Okay, that sounds less troublesome than I expected. What's convenient? Zoom or evac? Nope.
A mysterious force is blocking you from casting this spell.
What the?
That spell will let you escape from within a labyrinth, but you can't use it inside the mystery labyrinth. Anyway, time to pick again.
I wasn't actually trying to pick that. I bumped it because I was holding the controller weird. It makes a weird noise, too. Now we're here.
See? Super.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that was super easy.
But
Barely an
unfortunately,
inconvenience.
using it does drain a little bit.
She keeps saying that. Do I need to manage her resources? Is there like a weird... You know, I don't even care to speculate on this.
Drain a little bit of... what? Do you have MP or something?
Your lifespan.
My lifespan? Again?
Why is it always gotta be my lifespan?
So we passed through how did the culprit pull it off junction, and have taken the played dead turn again. Now that we have a new solution key, I'm sure we can solve this mystery and access what's ahead.
Let's give it a try.
Need to learn to look down more. Om nom tasty lifespan.
Solutions
I mean, it's
are
fair,
important
right?
to solving mysteries. Yours truly is important too.
What proves the culprit played dead?
We are gonna expose the truth together.
So I need to... No, the solution key button doesn't work the same way it does in the RDM. Do I have to set it? Just pick out a so I... Do I pick it from the inventory first? Or do I just use the solution key? The number 20, the red herring. It proves he played dead because someone faked a death. Right? That seems straightforward enough. Hit it with a hammer.
Zilch was trying to trick us into thinking he'd killed himself.
Why did my text disappear and turn into a bridge? This game has me ask a lot of questions, but they're usually the type of question I don't mind leaving completely unanswered.
See, didn't I say the path would appear? It's all because we found the right deductive clue to break through.
I feel like this bodes both well and poorly for future Mystery Labyrinths, but I'm still pretty well on board for all this.
I'm so amazing. You can pat me on the head if you want, Master.
So, like, people keep track of games where you can, like, pet the dog, right? Does this, do we need to start tracking for whatever this is? I don't think we know that. Letters asks, is she the one and only death, or is she one of many Shinigami? I'm assuming the way, based on what little I understand of Japanese culture and the mythology of Shinigami, probably one of many, but I don't think we specifically know that. But, like, yeah, I imagine it's something like a Death Note situation.
Well, maybe later.
We have time. If that's what you're into.
We opened the play dead route thanks to the corpse red herring solution key.
This is one of those sentences that, like, when you read it from the script, you're like, yeah, I'll just read this out loud. But out of context, you're like, what are you talking about?
So Zilch really faked his death to mislead us.
Giant butterfly.
If so, he is absolutely the culprit. Now, we just need to prove it.
But even if the Mystery Labyrinth is fair when it comes to solving mysteries, the real world will be different, right? What if Amaterasu Corp decides to protect the culprit, even if we prove who really did it?
We'll murder the mystery. There won't be any opportunity to do that or something.
Oh, you're worried they'll just cover it up? No need to worry about that.
Huh? Why's that?
Let's save the fun for later.
Mind the cows. Cows go moo. She's gonna, like,
The
barf on them
ground!
later or
It's
something.
falling apart!
Now we're gonna go back to the minecart.
You better run, Master!
Why? Wasn't this the right route?
Maybe the logic still has some holes in it.
Hey, we could stand here and die or run. Like, I don't know. Oh, good.
Ah!
Master, you better concentrate!
I don't think I like this. What happened? What did she do? She broke our neck? Why did we... Was what Yuma saw through the window actually Zilch? No. Okay, so I guess my theory that it was the body of Aphex is wrong, but that seems really plausible to me.
When I saw Zilch through the window, he was faking his death with a knife through the cushion.
Well, I guess the assumption I'm making is that we're talking about the corpse, not the him beforehand.
That was definitely the real Zilch.
If this is the question we're asking, I feel like that timed question was a little misleading. This is what I was answering. Because no, I think the body is A for this.
The corpse I investigated was real, it just wasn't Zilch's corpse. In other words, Zilch swapped himself out for a real corpse.
So swap places with the corpse in the infirmary. I don't know. I think after we entered? No, okay. I honestly have no idea how I'm supposed to know that. This strikes me as a little stupid. I'd agree with that, Sarah. The time limit is really harsh, and there aren't really, like, clear clues for this. But they give you, like, 1 trillion health, so I guess it's fine. Like, I'm not entirely sure what this is. Like, I don't think I have context for this, other than...
The corpse was switched right before I broke the infirmary window to open the lock.
I mean, I just don't think I have a way to know that. The window of time is so narrow, this distinction feels almost meaningless.
The blazing fire had filled the room with smoke, so I couldn't make anything out through the window. Zilch used that smoke as cover to switch himself with a dead body.
That's also just like a really pedantic question, I think.
I get it. The fire wasn't only there to show he died from burning. It was also a smokescreen to swap out the corpse.
Like, this I get. I understand that. But, like, I don't feel like that last question drives me to that conclusion, personally.
Right. In the smoke, he switched places with a corpse he had hit.
This does answer one of the questions I hadn't worked out. It's a little implausible, but I buy it, but I don't think that question is the thing that leads me to get to this conclusion. Ah, my lifespan! Hey, I figured out what to call this episode. This gotta be called Pinup Pirate, right? Am I right? Is that correct, chat?
Next up, you need to deduce where the corpse was hidden.
Oh, that's a good question. No, he was laying on top of it, right? I think that makes sense. I think he was laying on top of it, because he seemed, like, so weirdly elevated.
Because the room was filled with smoke, he needed to put the body somewhere he could access immediately.
Where are you thinking?
If he needed to get to the body as quickly as possible, only one place makes sense.
Spot selection?
This is suspicious.
Where was the burnt, swapped out corpse hidden? I mean, it is where it was hidden. He was hiding it by being on top, is my suspicion.
Better search every nook and cranny.
You can pick spots for the icon changes.
Doesn't make mistakes.
Picking the wrong spot means taking damage. I've already taken so much damage, it's fine. I mean, it's here.
Here! That's it! The burnt corpse was hidden right there!
This is a weird way of framing this. Like, again, like, here's the thing. This is very Phoenix Wright. Like, I want to be clear about this. Like, I'm complaining about it a little bit, but, like, it's the same thing that Phoenix Wright does, where it's like, the logic of the case is sound, but, like, they want you to follow, like, a really specific set of steps, and, like, sometimes they prompt you in a way that, like, doesn't, like, translate clearly, and, like, sometimes you're, like, way ahead of them, and, like, they just want you to, like, just grind to a halt to, like, jump across all its stepping stones or whatever. But, like, I feel like this idea is very clear to me. They're like, well, if he was hiding the body to do a swap, like, how did he do it so quickly? Like, that's a reasonable question, and, like, I didn't sort that out before. But now it's like, where did he hide the body? I'm like, that's not how I would phrase that question. Not really. Not in this presentation, where it expects you to just click the body. Like, I get the idea. It's just weird. The burnt corpse was hidden in plain sight, disguised as a burnt corpse. Yeah, exactly. Like, framing it this way sort of suggests that this is like a really stupid thing to say, but it makes sense. It's just asked weirdly. Also, I was on a rant, but thank you, Demolition, for gifting subs. Got Twitch, Zekroom, Serious Marine, Marma GTV, and Volpixie. Aw, fun. Thank you, as always, Demolition. Much more nonsense to come. It's already 8. That's wild.
Hey!
They're linking me! Fizzy lifting drink! No, wait, what are they doing? Is this a metaphor? Is the chain a metaphor? They took away my brain TV. I don't know what that means. Did my lifespan decrease?
One after another. This is really bad for my heart.
We're not done yet! Hurry! Let's speed it up!
Shinigami, you might be fine because you're floating around, but this is really tough for me.
Dude, she's about to drag you by the chain. It's not gonna be better.
I can't believe it! He had the corpse hidden under the blanket? So, that four-eyed detective was sleeping next to a dead body.
He wasn't sleeping, he was waiting to set a trap for you.
I'm so jealous!
That's so weird, but you're also a death god, so fair?
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. Zilch was lying in bed with the corpse. He got up once the smoke screen was ready. He took the corpse out from under the blanket, pulled the knife out of the cushion, and stabbed it. That way, even after he switched with the corpse, he could just hide to avoid me.
The thing earlier where they were like, when did he switch the body, is like when we were getting the fire extinguisher. That's the thing I was supposed to pick up.
With easy access, which must mean... under the bed. He could have quickly hid there.
Which means, if you checked under the bed at the time, you would have caught that four-eyed idiot.
But back then, I was in such a hurry to warn the other master detectives. I'm sure he calculated all that too. He knew I'd panic.
Maybe he was planning to take advantage of you from the very beginning, and that's why he let you live.
It is an unanswered question as to like why there was no attempt to attack or kill us.
Yeah, I think Zilch was the one who peeked into the restroom while I was sleeping there.
Now, okay, I just want to be clear that we have established that happened. We had passed out because we had sort of met Shinigami properly, and that like freaked us out and we passed out. And she said that she had been like tethered to us, but noticed that the door opened at some point. So like, he didn't watch us poop. I mean, this isn't meant to conclude that he watched us poop. He might have, I don't.
I was supposed to be sleeping in the infirmary, so he must have planned to move me before committing the crimes. I passed out in the restroom, but that didn't hinder his plans, so he went with it.
Speaking of which, wasn't it Detective Four Eyes who told you to go to the first car?
Yeah, he must have planned to make me witness everything and set me up as the culprit.
Aha! I think I'm starting to see the whole picture now.
I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? Because, like, we were presumed to be on a train car with, like, 5 master detectives. So, like, presumably leaving any one of them alive is a risk because if they're good at their job, they might solve the crime that you caused. But at the same time, like, we had amnesia and, like, didn't know what our detective forte was or anything like that. So, like, it's a reasonable gamble, I guess, to be like, well, if anyone has to survive this, it might as well be the one guy who I'm not entirely sure is legitimately an accomplished detective.
Not bad, Master. Maybe you were a big shot detective before you lost your memories.
No. If I really was a great detective, I would have caught the culprit in the infirmary before any of this happened.
I would argue that there are, like, a lot of mitigating circumstances to that.
I guess so. By the way, where did he get the corpse he was hiding in the blanket?
It's Aphex.
That corpse? Well,
It's Aphex's corpse. Is it that guy again? Yeah, it's that one guy.
Again?
I won't let you go any further.
Getting in our
Can't
way
let you do
again,
that,
huh?
Starfox.
If you stand against my ruthless master, he'll chop you up and stir-fry you with veggies for dinner.
I will not!
I won't eat him. I don't want that. So this time I assume our attempt is to identify the bot. So I should look at the keys to that end.
Master, I'm lending you a hand from here on out. I'll assist you when you're in a pinch.
Why did you not do that earlier?
Huh? Assist?
It's the rule of the Mystery Labyrinth to assist whoever you're accompanying. Now let's go, Master. Looks like you might not need assist after all, Master.
Usable when the recovery gauge is at max. By using assist, your partner inside the labyrinth will help
This
out.
could be the clincher.
When a partner's assist is activated, a mystery phantom statement won't inflict any damage. So use it to take a closer look at what they're... Oh, that actually sounds really useful. That would have helped me out a ton on that last one, where I just like... Nope. Is not getting what the heck they were talking about. I still think the last one's stupid. I'll argue that you know, like, I will give you that is subjective rather than objective, but I found that last one really dumb. Okay, I guess that's... I mean, it's gotta be Apex's corpse. It's the only one that makes... It has a stab wound. It's the whole thing.
I won't let you pass! Enough of your nonsense!
So that's a false inflammatory statement. That is
You
nothing.
think he swapped with a corpse? It'd be impossible to switch like that. Someone who could replace Silch would need to be the same size as him. He didn't have a bag that could carry a corpse.
No, I should dodge this.
It would have been caught at the station. It'd be impossible to get it on board. There
I was
was no
supposed to
corpse
attack
to
him.
replace anyway.
This is the truth!
I have a corpse.
There's no need to bring an extra corpse for the swap. He just needed to reuse a dead body on the train.
So all I'm gonna say, now, to be clear, I have enjoyed the vast majority of the Mystery Labyrinth. More than I expected, to be honest. At the same time, I did basically enter the labyrinth with this theory in mind, despite a lack of evidence. Did I not? I feel like someone can confirm this. Also, hello, Cotillion. How are you doing?
It's Aphex's body from the 5th car. He and Zilch are nearly the same height, and both have stab wounds in their chests.
Well, no. He used the same body. That's why the stab wound is in both cases.
So the corpse that was switched was Aphex's.
Seems to be elaborate for elaborate's sake and a story for crime itself. Maybe. I'm not sure I'd quite put it that way, but I think that's reasonably fair demolition. What if the game was a bit like Zero Escape and you'd get different routes depending on your choices? Maybe if you seemed suspicious of Zilch from the start, wouldn't have risked keeping you alive. I like that idea. I do think that's a fundamentally different game, but as someone who likes the Zero Escape games, obviously I find that interesting, that game. How did he get Aphex's corpse back to the 5th car for us to see it later? I imagine that we still need to address that. And earlier when I brought this up, I said I wasn't totally sure of that. But I suspect that either it was during that moment of blackout, which seems very sketchy because it was literally something like a second when we like went into the tunnel and the blackout happened and we switched to the backup electricity. And or there was like a couple of points where we had to like duck into someone's room to like investigate their body. And I think it may even have forced us to close the door because we like, quote, didn't want to be cornered or something like that.
How could someone like you find the truth?
You got a little something on your eyes, pal.
Truth.
The tooth. Don't forget the tooth. The tooth. The tooth. The tooth. The tooth. Yeah, like...
He looks completely obliterated.
I also mentioned that possibility earlier, Neko. Like, I had theorized that his power could either be lighting people on fire to explain how he was able to do that so freely, or have to do with transporting the body. But it seemed most likely that Aphex's body had to be reused in order to do the stunt. But I promise, like, I've been saying this stuff since the start. Oh, I'm so glad that you appreciated that Dune reference, Castlearg. I'm just glad someone got the Dune reference. It's the best part of that particular adaptation of Dune. I still have not seen the most recent one, to be honest. I don't know if it also has that just truly preposterous scene.
Now we
did
don't
we
have to
obliterate
fight
him?
anymore.
That would be good
Even if
news.
that's true, don't let your guard down. The mystery labyrinth isn't over yet. Stay alert until the very end.
Yes, that was Dean Stockwell. Very, very well observed, Castleard. Points to Gryffindor, or whatever your house is.
All right.
Yes, indeed, Al. As most of us may know him, Al, from Quantum Leap. It's a big ladder. Considered a space-time paradox. They seem to be going around these days. I mean, that's true. Time-space is always breaking down. Now she's
Wow.
floating around us while we
Who
climb the
would've thought
ladder.
That short-tempered idiot would be used for a body swap.
Can I just say, and I feel like it speaks volumes about my impressions of this game after, you know, approaching 6 hours, that I keep stopping to point out things that I like. Because if you've seen my streams, you know I hate everything. And even games I like, I'll play them and I'll be like, I need to stop to tell you how much I hate this, it's dumb. But, like, I actually like the extent to which they've gone just to mask these, like, idle transitions between the big set pieces. You know, you have the, like, infinitely looping corridor, and, like, that's the fun thing that I like watching. But, you know, they use it a lot, so it gets a little old. So then they do stuff like this, where she's floating around us and we're climbing a ladder, or we're, like, running across those floating stones and whatever. I think it's really cool. Plus, they have creative license to just put a bunch of weird stuff in the background. Why not? Look at my tie. You like my tie, Mario?
Thinking back, the reason the corpses in the first and fifth cars were burnt was to switch them out.
Mm-hmm.
But the corpse was so badly burned that I couldn't tell it was Aphex.
Not until you saw the necklace on him, which was put back on him in order to mask the fact that the body had been reused.
That must be what the necklace was for, so I could identify him.
Yep.
Well, reusing a corpse is rather environmentally friendly of the culprit, don't you think? He
It's not-
totally went green.
That's not, like, exactly true.
I mean, we gotta recycle everything in our day and age, so you gotta get the most value out of corpses too, you know?
I mean... I haven't saved in a minute. I should do that if I can. I don't know if I can. Oh, now we're on the train. Literally on the train? Oh, it's a Q train in the tunnel, or in a tunnel.
Zilch?
I don't know, man. The Mystery Labyrinth is pretty cool. I am gonna save, because it's been, like, a while. Oh, I can't save. Well, that stands to reason. What? Hit me and it didn't do anything.
Wait, I am not the culprit. I am a victim who was already killed. So, leave me alone!
Hey, he ran away! After him, Master!
Yeah.
You said the body...
Now can I save? Use all my save files. My sister's plane is now 12 hours past due to depart? Is that really true? Somehow I did not see this update on Twitter at all today.
In the first car's infirmary wasn't me, but Aphex? But you went to car 5
I have
after
jump
car
controls?
1 and discovered his
Oh, I
corpse
do.
there. How was the corpse transported from car 1 to car 5? That'd require moving past you.
That's right. If he slipped past us, when did that happen?
Oh, the shaking is the thing that made me fall over. I don't think I actually do have any reasonable control over this. End of the tunnel. Oh, Thomas the Tank Engine got, like, real creepy pasta. Where are we now? Oh, it's another split. You gonna attack me with a scythe again?
Where did he run off to?
Why is it backwards? When moving the body from car 1 to car 5, the culprit moved through the train, did not move through the train. Ah, this is tricky. Because I feel like the answer probably has to do with his forte. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what his forte is. I think it is plausible he moved through the train, but I think it's less likely, because that would be pretty tough to do. Like, I think the game provided a window during which that's plausible. But I think the best case for that would be when searching a couple of the rooms that had bodies in them. I think the game forces the door to close under the guise that you don't want to get ambushed while doing it. But, like, he would still have to haul someone, like, a burnt corpse of someone who's, like, roughly his size all the way through the train. Like, I think it's plausible we would look at the bodies long enough for that to happen, because you'd only have to make it, like, one car past us for that to continue to be plausible all the way through. But there's still, like, the mystery of the power change. I don't know exactly what that points to. I feel like it has to be involved. I'm not sure if it's getting at the fact that we lost power for a second is supposed to contribute to that. I mean, I think there's a world in which his forte could be turning into small animals, but, like, then I guess he wouldn't be able to move the body. I do want to say train, but for some reason I'm skeptical that...
Another mystery that needs to be solved.
Interesting that this did not require the scythe, though. Yeah, I think this...
Thinking about it rationally, we have to assume that they carried the corpse through the train.
No, that's impossible.
Well, this seems like a good sign, because obviously his ghost is lying to me. He's not ghost, because he's still alive.
Impossible. 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 Impossible.
Yeah, like, it would be really easy for this game to just reuse, like, one set of, like, door assets for, like, every choice like that, but I like that we get to this point and it's, like, 2 train tracks. Like, it's little things like that, but it shows, like, more attention to detail than, like, a lot of the Somnium stuff. Which always felt like it was kind of, like, half-baked. Like, there were good ideas that weren't executed, like, to completion. Whereas, like, just the tutorial mission is, like, a lot of care. Yeah, it could be considered impossible.
Impossible. Impossible. Impossible. Impossible. Impossible. Impossible.
So, is everyone in the dungeon, like, a total goth, or, like, what, like, how... Oh no, he's Victorine!
Zilch
From
turned into a
Zatch
mystery
Bell.
phantom!
The guy who's just actually a giant letter V who shoots a laser out of his body.
Get him, Master! Boom kill him so hard, his relatives get bruises!
This is like post-goth neon? There's gotta be some name for this. Oh, good, someone knows who Victor Reem is. That's good. We're really hitting, we're hitting a lot of success cases on these obscure references. It's a good sign for me. Blackout and shaking, cushion with hole. Well, it's probably the blackout with shaking. Because I feel like that must be involved with the effort to move the body, even though I'm still not like 1000% clear on the details. I think the shaking has to do with... No, it can't just be switching the systems, because there would be a blackout both times? I did not know that. Arcadia says that there's a sequel to Zatch Bell that started a few months ago. Is that for real? I haven't heard about that at all. Cybergoth sounds close to right. I'm never gonna remember that I have the assist, by the way.
Body
It's a
can't
really
get from
unnatural
car 1
control.
to car 5. Just think about it. The train's halls are quite narrow. The corpse is heavy enough as it
Impossible,
is.
impossible!
Lugging a corpse through that hallway, you would certainly have noticed. That means your deduction is all wrong. I'll say it once more. You cannot transport the
That was
corpse
tricky.
from car 1 to car 5.
There wasn't an
That's
inflammatory
true.
statement, or whatever. Or did I just completely miss that somehow? Please, 10. I'll tell you what, though. I've never seen the end of the original Zatch Bell story because I always watched the dub. And they just like... Well, no, I did actually go back and watch the end of the anime, but the anime doesn't reach the end of the story, right? Even in Japanese? I think that's true.
Plus, when we investigated the private rooms, we kept the doors open for security.
No, I'm wrong. I remembered that incorrectly. I know they made a big deal of the doors, but I thought that I remembered them closing.
If someone had passed through the hallway, I probably would have noticed.
So yeah, then it must be the
They would've had to
blackout is
sneak
the thing
past
they're
me,
pointing to.
too. There's no way anybody got through that corridor.
If we're certain nobody used that corridor, then the corpse must have been brought in from outside the train, not inside. If so, the culprit would need to be able to pass by us without being noticed.
So they sent the body outside the train, but then snuck past us? That's a little more plausible to do in just that short period of time with the blackout.
What are you mumbling about? Just admit that your deductions were utter nonsense.
So am I supposed to go back now? Like, we didn't resolve that combat.
If they didn't pass through the train, you think a corpse was brought in from outside? The windows are all locked shut. The door's locked.
Oh,
when
the
train
windows
is
are locked.
moving. We know the train never stopped
I'm
once.
supposed to respond to that.
If the windows and doors are shut, there's no way to get out while the train is moving. No issues occurred during the train's operation. Even if you
Oh,
could
come on.
get out, a body could not get in.
I clearly hit the attack button, but I just, like, narrowly smacked into that.
Well,
Train. You think a corpse was brought in from outside? The windows are all locked shut.
I would love to say I have enough confidence in my ability to do this that I could do it at the chipmunk
know the
speed,
train never
but
stopped
I
once.
think you've seen me take a bunch of hits already, so you know that's
The
wrong.
windows and doors are shut. There's no way to get out while the train is moving. No issues occurred during the train's operation.
This is the truth! No, there was something strange. The blackout and shaking that happened when I was in Car 2 and Car 4.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea behind the reasoning deathmatch. I do think it's a little prolonged, but, like, if you're at all familiar with how Danganronpa works, like, it's definitely how you would expect it to go. It's one of the things that I didn't like about Danganronpa, to be clear with you, is, like, they just like to let people go on, and you have to, like, wait for the statement to come up. It's like, literally, like, imagine when you're, like, cross-examining someone in Phoenix Wright, but, like, instead of being able to freely scroll through the testimony like a sane person who plays video games and doesn't have an infinite amount of time, that, like, you have to wait for the game to read it on a continuous loop to get back to the thing you want. It's true, the character portrait has gone exclamatory.
When the blackout occurred and the shaking started, I'm certain something else happened in the train. Maybe it has something to do with the mystery of the moving corpse.
Don't be stupid! So what if there was a little blackout and some gentle swaying?
Definitely sounding like a Phoenix Wright prosecutor. Distorted plate? The thing in the last room, right? It's burned and distorted in an unusual manner. It's true that I never really figured out what they were going for there. Could that really have something to do with transporting the body? I don't think it's the bloodless blanket. Backup control system seems more likely a next step in this chain of reasoning. Some kind of malfunction caused the blackout. Seems likely.
Get the shaking and the blackout! They were nothing but coincidences! The blackout was just a bad contact. The shaking
I
was
definitely
the
hit that
tunnel
with my
air pressure.
sword. You saw that happen.
There's nothing odd about that.
I should just, like, completely
It's
ignore the
all
pink
just a
things, but I can't.
coincidence.
I can't do it.
It's impossible to include that in a criminal plot.
Come on.
No.
Forget the shaking and the blackout. They were nothing but coincidences. The blackout was just a bad contact.
I'll flash through this mystery. No, the blackout didn't occur because of a connection failure. It was due to the main control system failing and switching to the backup control system.
Control system automatically manages the electricity within the train. When the main control system fails, it will switch to the backup system after 1 second. That's quite the backup, by the way.
The blackout occurred during that 1 second when the system switched over.
Oh, the train's back. Gosh, I wish I could remember the
He ran
name of the
away.
Thomas train with the
Blue
square
Phantom
face.
is a bad phantom.
Is there such a thing as a good phantom?
After him! You gotta keep solving the mystery and boom, kill that mystery phantom!
Hey!
Yeah, I'm with you, Demolition. I mean, like, again, I feel like we're roughly on par with the challenges of, like, the Phoenix Wright series. And I love those games, like, a lot. Like, there are games that I like things about, but will complain about endlessly. I overall think that the Phoenix Wright games are very good. So the fact that we're, like, roughly on par with that means that, like, despite some level of occasional frustration, I'm still enjoying this quite a lot. But, like, I agree the implementation's a little rough around the edges in some places. And people keep making these Persona references, and I've never committed to playing one of those games. That guy's definitely a Diesel. That's true, that guy is a Diesel for sure. Someone's seen Bullet Train. Which is also a great movie with a bunch of deaths on a train.
Master, you may know the cause of the blackout, but what does that have to do with how the corpse was moved?
The failed main control system was in Car 1, where the body swap occurred. If so, then the main control system's failure must have something to do with moving the corpse.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, like, I haven't heard more good things. Like, I feel like I've mostly heard good things from people who've seen Bullet Train, but, like, I know it has, like, really bad reviews. And I don't get that. I feel like if you've seen it, I feel like if you watched that movie and, like, had any idea what it was going into it, you would, like, have to like it, right?
So maybe the culprit broke the main control system. He must have attempted to stop the train to bring in the corpse from the outside.
But the train never stopped. The operation log confirms the train was moving the entire time. So I don't think he broke the system to bring the corpse in.
Then why did the main control system fail?
It must have something to do with moving the body.
But you're unsure exactly how, huh? In that case?
Again, this feels very much like the sort of thing that would happen in, like, a Phoenix Wright case, where, like, I have a general sense of, like, who did the thing, and probably some broad understanding of exactly what transpired. But there's often, like, one detail that I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. How am I gonna get there? Oh, thanks?
I knew it! A mystery is blocking you! Anything blocking you in here is also a mystery. So let's solve it to keep on going.
Uh-oh. It's a good thing I got a lot of blood.
So this is the question we're facing right now.
Main control system was lost when car 1 was blank, 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 blank. Is it time for Pinup Pirate? That's what this feels like.
The main control system must have failed because something happened in the first car. If that's true, what exactly happened?
I don't immediately know what word I expect to fill there.
If it's related to the body being moved, then how?
I don't like the look on her face. I know it's gonna help us solve the mystery, but, like, it's definitely sadistic.
Master's expression is so serious. He must be thinking hard. Well, as his mentor, I better think hard too. The main control system failing, the blackout, the train shaking.
I know, the car 1 did the Harlem Shake. That must be it.
Oh yeah! Why did the train shake like that? There was a blackout right before entering the tunnel that was caused by the main control system failing. But the culprit didn't destroy it, so the blackout happened because... Oh, wasn't there some shaking right before the blackout too? After the whole train shook, the blackout... I don't get it.
That's right! The train shook right before the blackout. We still don't know what caused that to happen.
Now, I just want to point out that when she was expressing her frustration, she was, like, flexing all her limbs, and also her chest was just going wild, like she has full control over that with the power of her mind. Which, like, probably, right?
Whatever it
Me
was,
gustan las
it was
tetas
strong
grandes.
enough to make the entire train shake.
Someone gets me. Arcadia's paying attention.
It caused the main control system to fail and resulted in a blackout. If it had something to do with moving a body, then what must have happened was...
Someone, like, forced open the window?
Ooh! Did I give you the assistance you needed? Close to solving the case now? Then it's time to combine our powers and solve this thing! Let's go, Master! Lay it all out!
Forever.
You know, I figure it'd be a whole lot easier to move the body if we could just change the universal constant of gravity, you know? Wait, yeah, when we lay it all out, it's time for Pinup Pirate.
Are you ready to play the Shinigami puzzle?
Put it in her mouth. Maybe something happened to the train when it shook. Main control system... Did it switch to the backup because car 1 was gone?
Twirling.
Lost when? I don't know what word I'm looking for. Detached?
Nice. That's right.
It's just like such a specific word to describe it. It's not as obvious as red herring. She ate the keys. Yeah, that's how you get clues. How could that be any clearer? How could anything in this game be any clearer than it is by default?
You only have 30 seconds left. Hurry up, Master. Nice. That's right. Nice.
So I need... Can I have also misleading because the last character is ED, so it's actually 8 letters?
Great.
Super, super weird. I don't think the slowing the barrel is actually helpful at all. Superman wishes. But like for real though, someone back me up. It's weird that it's a 7-letter word where the last letter is ED, right?
From the train?
Huh? Separated? What? Seriously?
Also, separated is not detached. Separated could have been the whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. The reason why the main control system failed was because the first car was cut off from the rest of the train we were riding in.
Let's keep going for now. Master, I don't really get it.
You and me both,
What
sister.
do you mean the first car was cut off?
No, it stopped me, and then
The
it would
shaking
let me
happened
go if I
just
kept
before
going.
the blackout, right? Huh? Did it just shake? What was that? The lights went out for a moment and came back on. At that time, the first car was disconnected from the rest of the Amaterasu Express. As a result, the main control system failed, and after a brief blackout, it switched to the backup.
But one is where we saw Zilch, right? I guess that makes sense. Originally, I'd been thinking about things in a different way. But because of the way the game supposes that the play dead action happens, it would make sense to disconnect car 1 to send the body outside the train. And then... The question I have is, like, why the blackout doesn't happen twice, and it's sort of impossible to say without knowing the entirety of the way that system is, like, supposed to work. But I'm guessing that it wants us to believe that something similar happened on the other end of the tunnel, but because it was switching back to the main power and was already working off the backup power, it wasn't lost the other way. Something like that.
But why cut off the first car? Why go through all that trouble?
Of course, to move the body in the train car. To do that.
Watch out! Ah! There it is again! It's bigger than ever!
How much longer will this keep happening? I feel like I'm going to suffocate.
I think she's into that.
Now's not the time to be suffocating!
I don't think you ever get used to this.
We need to resolve the mystery at hand.
The body was transported along with the entire car? Is that what you want me to think?
Given that the first car was cut off so that the body could be moved.
It is a pretty odd request, right? Stop suffocating. It's not the time. Particularly while she is suffocating him.
Right. I think I see what happened.
Seems like you got it. Let's do this. Lay it all out, Master.
Pin up pirate redux.
Are you ready to play the Shinigami puzzle?
I'm fairly certain this is car. I do wish that the skill I had acquired let me have some control over the speed rather than just slowing it down. Maybe I should take that off. I don't know.
Go, go! Keep that up! Great!
I did it. Bam.
That's right! He transported the corpse using the entire first car. That's why the first car was disconnected.
Transported the corpse? With the entire car? Nonsense. Shut up!
That's a look.
The first car is at the front of the train. Apex's corpse was in the fifth car, in the back. Even if you detach the front car, how do you move it all the way to the rear?
Master, don't be scared. Lots of villains transform after they've been cornered.
Calm down. Stay calm. Think. How could you swap the position of the first and fifth cars? If I can answer that, I can solve this mystery once and for all. How did it happen?
I don't immediately know what we're going for. Is it like something to do with the fact that because we had been unconscious, we were originally on a different car than we thought we were, or something? But it still doesn't really explain the literal mechanics of it.
That reminds me. Master, earlier when you were talking about the shaking and mentioned the blackout, the blackout only happened once, but the shaking happened twice.
Yeah, it definitely shook 2 separate times. Right before entering the tunnel, and right after leaving it. The first time was when the train car was disconnected. But what about the second? Something happened to the train then, too. The shaking at the end of the tunnel felt similar to when Car 1 disconnected.
I mean, presumably it's disconnecting a car and reconnecting a car, right? Like, that's not the thing that's hard for me to grasp here.
There's no point thinking about it. You're stuck in this labyrinth for all eternity.
Yeah, I'm really glad I don't have like a 6-minute time limit or whatever.
Master, here it comes! You gotta solve the mystery and defeat him!
Your deductions aren't worth a damn thing. Because they're all wrong from the very beginning.
If that's true, I don't think that you would have turned into, like, Goth Hawkman Megazord.
So it shook.
Okay, what do we have? Red herring probably isn't it. Ah, the route map. Splits into 2 lines before entering the tunnel. So, because we've established, even though we haven't talked about it like at all this stream, there's 2 cars able to drive the train, 1 and 5. One of them was detached to drive on its own to the other side of the tunnel using the branch. And then the one we were on went directly through the tunnel. I don't remember the exact time that the second shaking happened, but as long as it was timed correctly, that makes sense.
Twice near the tunnel. What of it?
You know, for sure the train shook twice. Once before and once after.
So
Okay, it just doesn't like presenting it there. Very Phoenix right. Okay, sure.
What of it? You mean the train car was separated and reconnected? Why would that even matter? Even if you managed to separate car 1, how could it be moved to the rear? The train was always running on the same tracks.
How is that not a thing I can counterattack? It's literally false. The last thing he said was literally false. It should have been something I can counterattack. It's literally a false statement. That's annoying.
No. At that time, not all the cars were moving on the same track.
Right, which is why you should have let me attack on the previous... Shut the heck up, game. Shut up.
The track that the Amaterasu Express was on separated into double tracks right before entering the tunnel. So by taking advantage of the double tracks, it's possible to switch out the train cars.
He literally said they were always on the same track, which is literally factually incorrect. You can't say that the statement hasn't been finished. It's a full false statement. It's a thing that I can contradict with the evidence I'm holding in my sword.
The first
Hey,
time
my
the
brain
train shook
TV,
was
they
before entering
stole
the
that
tunnel,
before.
which was caused by car 1 separating. After that, the separated car 1 entered the other track, while the rest of the train proceeded on the main track. The two tracks rejoin after the tunnel. That's where car 1 connected to the end of the train.
Now, the theoretical problem with this is, like, wouldn't we have noticed that... Well, it's like, shouldn't we have noticed that while escaping the train? I feel like we literally run out of the train the same way that we had progressed towards the back. And I feel like right before we left the train and got on the platform, we passed by the same room that we saw Zilch in originally, and he was missing. Which is what, like, caught my attention at the time. So, like, how could it be at the end of the train?
This is when the train shook for the second time.
You're right! The first car moved all the way to the back!
Like, this makes sense on its own. I just really strongly felt as though we did manage to pass through the cars, and I don't know that I specifically counted them because it was like a quick time event section. But, like, I feel like we passed through car 1 again at the front.
Normally, it's impossible for a single train car to function on its own. But the Amaterasu Express is special. The control system will supply electricity as programmed and drive the train. But all train cars on the train have motors that run autonomously.
Such a specific
Each train car can operate autonomously. Then car 1 can function on its own. Doesn't that solve everything? It's time you gave up.
No! That's crazy!
Huh? What?
Using your method to rearrange the train cars would connect the first car to the end, which would leave it behind the fifth car. In other words, it becomes the sixth car, but that doesn't exist. So, you're telling me you found Aphex's corpse in the non-existent sixth car?
Well, no. I think the way that the game is supposing it, it never moved. Well, no, I guess it moved. Oh, that's why they burned the, like, marker thing, right? Is so that you wouldn't know that it was supposed to be car 1. That's why that, like, random detail that, like, hasn't felt like it mattered the whole time is in place.
Oh, you're right.
Do you get it? You're the one who's wrong. Everything you've deduced is wrong!
No, I'm not wrong. The truth lies just ahead of us.
Shouldn't he be holding the sword right now?
I will prove it to you.
Is this really the time for pinup pirate? Nah, I'm just kidding. It's always a good time for that. I don't know what this will possibly be, though.
Hustle it out!
From the start, Amaterasu Express was a... I mean, 5, right? Is it not 5? Is it 6?
Tick tock, tick tock.
Alright. Well, I guess it was 6, and I just don't know that we established anything that, like, made that clear other than the fact that it's, like, necessary for this stage of the game.
Got it wrong. Nice.
So it's a 4-car train. I guess I see what you're getting. Look how
Maybe
small.
the Amaterasu Express doesn't have 5 cars. What if there were only 4 cars to begin with?
I mean, it sure feels like it would help if I had simply been able to explore the train in the beginning to know this. Because the map indicates 5 cars, right? I mean, obviously it's supposed to be like a red herring or something. It's just like, this annoys me only in that it feels like in real life it would be really difficult to not notice the total number of cars.
If that's the
It
case,
feels like something that
then
only
to
the
me,
contrivance of a video
car
game
1
could make
be made
happen.
to look like car 5.
Like, this I'm fine with. The, like, concealing the fact that the cars have not... Like, that's fine. That's, like, a totally reasonable mystery thing. It explains, like, a weird thing that hasn't made sense for, like, many hours. That's totally fine.
Huh? So there weren't 5 cars the whole time, but instead 4?
That's why Melanie said the 5th car's door was broken while we were in transit.
That's fair. That's fair.
But you can access the 5th car, the one at the end. The door appears to be broken and won't open.
So it wasn't broken.
There's
The
just
4th
no
car
train
was
there.
actually the farthest one back from the get-go?
I'm sure the real 5th car was left behind at the station when we departed.
See, like, this is the thing that makes this a needless contrivance. Like, I'm totally fine with the whole, like, masking which car is which. Like, that's cool. But then being like, no, like, it definitely had 5. We just lied about it. Like, this is some, like, Deus Ex Mama stuff. This is annoying to me.
So the train
It's not a
took
huge
off
deal,
with
but it's
only
annoying.
4 cars. There was another car 1 at our destination. If it connected upon arrival, then the train would have 5 cars again.
I mean, actually, that makes more sense than the thing that was said before, but it's still completely insane and definitely suggests that this whole thing was a setup from the get-go.
So the car 1 where I was knocked out became the 5th car at the end of the line. And when I was questioned by the peacekeepers, the car 1 there was another car prepared at the station specifically for this plot.
If the real car 1 was waiting at the station's platform, then all the peacekeepers there would have noticed it. So they were all in on it.
Or you can assume that the peacekeepers themselves were the ones who prepared the other car 1. If there was another car 1, then there will be something that sets it apart from the original car 1.
Original car. So the original car 1 is where we found the body. Yeah, so this is going to the point that I said earlier, right? Is that, like, when we escaped the train, we passed through car 1, and it had the same layout, but it didn't have a burnt corpse in it.
For example, the way the window glass was broken in the infirmary would be different from how I broke it.
Yeah, okay.
You mean when you used the fire extinguisher to smash the infirmary's window? So they knew you would do that? That's how they were able to imitate it in the new car 1?
I think I was set up to reach for that fire extinguisher.
It's true, it had been, like, laid out in such a way that it was, like, relatively handy. And of course you were set up to witness the body to eliminate Zilch as a possible culprit.
The fire extinguisher was left in a conspicuous spot in the hallway. They wanted me to use it to break the window. And that's how they pulled off swapping the first and fifth cars while in transit. It was all a trap to set me up as the culprit. Zilch!
All right, we're almost there. Let's catch this culprit. That was a pretty solid deduction. Very impressive. Of me foreseeing your potential.
It's so strange.
All a matter of perspective. That's what
It
counts
doesn't
at the
feel
end of the
like
day.
I'm learning this stuff, more like I'm remembering it. Maybe I was even a high-ranking detective in the WDO.
Now's no time for bragging. You still gotta catch him.
Right.
Do you think that ultimately the trick is that he was a good detective, but he always solved crimes with the pin-up pirate technique? And so he was just like kind of a weirdo?
Everything feels different here.
This is just the calm before the storm. Be careful. You don't know what's gonna happen next.
That's true, I definitely don't.
You know, making the...
Can I save here? I'm gonna use all my save files. You can't stop me from doing.
First car looked like the fifth was a really big trick to pull off.
Yeah, as Neko points out, it's
I'm
kind of a lot
surprised
of
the train cars could disconnect
trouble.
and reconnect so smoothly.
The train's automatic operating system must have had it programmed before we departed.
Yeah, I mean, if it was intentional from the beginning, you
Even
could
the
plan
trick
that
with
with
the
their
swapping
control
train
system.
car?
Probably.
Why not?
It had to have been done automatically.
It had to have
Well,
been
if
planned
you're
too. It'd be
using
really hard to
Amaterasu,
improvise that.
They own the train.
That's what I'm
This is
worried
cool.
about.
I like the staircase.
Even if I obtain the truth here, won't they just ignore what I say and arrest me anyway?
I keep telling you not to worry about it. As long as you have the truth, the culprit can't escape.
I'm really curious to see
Why
what
are
that
you so
actually
sure
means.
of that?
Kato says he thinks my theory is likely, but the previous assistant reported him for sexual harassment, for making her wear a bikini and climb
What
into a barrel.
is
That all tracks.
this?
And then he made a pact with a death god to like clear his record, right? So that he could get work again because he got canceled.
Looks like a fort to me.
I mean, it's a little castle-y. It feels a bit more established than I would expect a fort to be on average.
With this kind of protection, I bet the truth is in there for sure. You just have to destroy it.
So the truth is here.
Not out there? Man, I've been misled for so long.
You can't have the truth. It's impossible to destroy this fortress. Just give up and leave.
If I triple X files. If I just say no, does he lose? No, I won't do that. I worked really hard on this.
Whenever a culprit takes a last stand like this, you know we're just a step away from unriddling this labyrinth.
I like all of her like weird malapropisms for describing mysterious things.
Master, time to show him how dangerous you really are. After all, he did try to set you up.
I'm not worried about that right now. We're so close to the truth. We
Don't
gotta
forget
do
the
this.
two.
It's boom kill time!
I'm sure that's a lot funnier in Japanese. Now, if you thought Tower of Terror was bad, how about Castle Plungeville? What? Am I suddenly supposed to be really far away from the castle? Oh. Uh... Sure. Yeah, why not? Why not? God Shinigami? I mean, God Death God?
Shinigami's tutorial corner.
To overcome the last stand of a phantom, tear through all obstacles with mega-sized God, Great Onset Destroyer, me!
Let's do this, Master.
Do I even have control over this? I honestly am unclear on this.
Hmm. Oh, whoa.
Blast away iron balls with a kick, which is A.
No one can stop me.
When an obstacle closes in and the screen slows down, press the button to attack.
What?
Missing the input time means failure and taking damage. Yeah.
I won't let you have the truth.
Oh, it's too slow on that,
I
huh?
see.
Destroy a huge wall when they suddenly appear with the corresponding tackle.
Wreck it to death.
Screen slows down, press the button to attack, etc.
Go away! Keep up and scram!
So that'd be like pretty early on this.
See.
Destroy Thorn's jump.
Easy peasy.
It slows down, do it. If you mess up, you take damage.
Your
I'm never gonna
deduction
remember
is
these
wrong.
inputs in the future.
Go away! Don't come near me! Don't come any closer! Stop it! Switching the first and fifth cards is just your imagination. It's a completely baseless lie. There's no evidence they ever swapped.
That one needs a key.
Yo, check.
Solution key window. There are obstacles that even God can't destroy. Even God himself can't solve this tutorial.
Hurry up and decide.
Open up the solution key window and pick a key that contradicts the Phantom statement. There's no evidence that they swapped. The distorted plate is probably something. We didn't take a look at the bloodstain for that to be relevant, so it's gotta be the distorted plate. I like that in the tutorial it shows you the actual thing that's coming up.
Use the solution key to smash through the wall, Master.
Because, like, oh, this one has a different display. It's definitely not the fact that we drank coffee. That doesn't prove anything. Nor does the fact that the coffee would knock us out. So yeah, it's definitely the thing that, like, masks the number of the car.
You're wrong! Huh? Come on!
Boom kill.
No, there are traces of a swap. The warped plate from Car 5. The reason that plate was burned so thoroughly is because originally it said Car 1. Left as it was, it would have messed up your plot to make Car 1 look like Car 5. That's why you made extra sure it was burned beyond recognition.
Here I go.
That's nonsense! I burned the plate to disguise it? No! I didn't do that! Stop it!
Once you get the hang of the timing, it's actually pretty generous.
Stop!
But, like, initially it's pretty
Go
confusing.
away! Get away from me! Get away! Get away! It just happened to be easily burned. But with it burned, you have no way of knowing what number car it was. So there's nothing backing up your deduction. You have no hard evidence proving that location was the first car.
Looks like we need another solution key to boom kill him. Good luck, Master.
No hard evidence proving that the location was the first car. Knife in corpse. When Yuma noticed smoke coming through a gap in the door, he looked through the window to find Zilch with a knife in his chest. That's, like, you can make an argument the body could be evidence of that, but I don't think the specific clue is. The infirmary in car 5 was locked from the inside. There was a small amount of blood spattered on the interior lock. It feels likely it wants me to use this because it hasn't come up yet. I'm still not, like, 1000% sure. So, like, we broke the window with the fire extinguisher. Is it our blood on the lock? This is something that was not ever clear to me, is, like, what the source of the blood was. Victims all burned to death. Despite the fact that, like... I think 15 is the closest fit.
There is proof! The bloodstain on the inner lock of the infirmary in car 5! The culprit probably didn't notice it. But I remember. It's my blood!
Yeah, see, this would have been a much more helpful clue if we had established it was our blood. I don't think we did, but I might be wrong.
What?
When I was trying to get into the infirmary in car 1, I cut my finger on the glass. When I reached through to unlock the latch, I must have gotten blood on it. But that bloodstain would have been hidden while the interlock was open. That's probably why the culprit missed it. My blood, which was left behind in car 1, was found in car 5. This proves that someone pulled off the car switching trick. This is the truth of the case!
That's the sexiest Megazord I've ever seen. Got an intended for certain audiences notice. Yeah, so Twitch has been, like, messing around with some settings. And, when I choose this game as the category, it's like, this is, like, hard-coded as, like, for mature audiences. I'm like, that's fine. I play a lot of M-rated games on the stream. That doesn't bother me.
I'm not done yet!
I believe that's pronounced yeet. Why does that man have a barcode on his head? The guy you're talking about is the Peacekeeper investigator, and, like, I can't really explain to you anything about that guy, but I do know that he got, like, veneers for his teeth that spell out money and then, like, a yen symbol. So I assume it's so that someone wealthy could potentially attempt to buy him by scanning him with, like, a checkout barcode scanner.
What? He's still going? Let us boom kill you already!
If car 1 became car 5, then where did the culprit supposedly hiding in the infirmary go? You had to have checked the 5th car, but the culprit wasn't there!
There was, like, the locked control room, right?
The culprit must have been hiding somewhere in the 5th car, probably someplace safe.
I think the control room is, like, so, like, you couldn't have gotten off the train. That doesn't make any sense. The bathroom, I mean, would have been accessible, but, like, we also could have potentially checked there. I mean, I think it's just, I think we made a point of checking and the control room was locked. So, like, if he was in on a conspiracy that started before the train left the station, then, like, he could have either had a key or somehow been given access to this room that we would not be able to open. So it would be a safe place to hide.
Here.
Doesn't the guy at Hitman have a barcode on his head? Yeah, I think there's, like, a literal reason for that, but I don't know the lore behind. Like, he's a clone, and it might have something to do with identifying him as a clone.
The culprit was hiding inside the main control room, which was locked shut the entire time. I didn't have the key, so I could never have gotten inside. I bet the culprit moved there from the infirmary while Car 1 was running on the 2nd track. If the train's management company, Amaterasu Corporation, was involved, the culprit may have had the key. And then they hid in a blind spot I couldn't see from the window. That's how they got past me.
No, it's not me.
I kind of feel like if it wasn't you, you wouldn't have been able to turn into an enormous, like, neon green bird goth.
I'm not the culprit.
Great detective
Just like
work.
Occam's razor
I
at
call
work
that a
here.
critical hit. He seems like he's barely standing. All that's left is to finish him off.
Finish him off? How do I do that?
Shove all your evidence into the solution blade and slash as hard as you can.
Can I hold all those keys at once? Of course she would float upside down. Deduction denouement!
Time to expose this crime. The cheats and everything.
The deduction denouement is where the truth is made clear by thinking through all the deductions up until that point.
Somewhere inside your head, Master.
Place the correct piece in the corresponding deduction gap to reveal the truth.
This could
Alright.
be the clincher.
Locked pieces can be opened by solving mysteries, so keep it up, 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 up.
There's only one truth.
Once every gap is filled in with a piece, a finale revealing all mysteries will be unveiled. Everything has been leading to this moment. Or Newmont. I barely board the train. Oh no, I have to read it Japanese style, duh. I found a ticket in my pocket. Only minutes till departure. Leaving the lost and found. Where did Yuma rush to? Oh, the only thing I have is the fire extinguisher, so I have to find fire extinguisher first. Or can I... Okay, so some of these require other things to be done before I can unlock them to look at them. It's not like the hitboxes are not friendly. They are not friendly. Okay, so fire extinguisher is probably a good place to start. Oh my god, this is actually terrible. Is there a... Okay, D-pad's like way better. Way better. So fire extinguisher is like after everyone's drugged. Yeah, and we have to be awake at that point. Culprit hiding. It's used as red herring. It was used to break the window. Fire extinguisher. So car number 1 plate should be like pretty close to the end, right? Did the culprit burn? The number 1 plate to mask the fact that this was car 1 to begin with. Ah, Amaterasu Express. That can be used on page 1, right? What was used to put the detectives to sleep? This knockout drug. What am I looking for here? It's used as a red herring. The... knife pillow? It's the blackout. Hiding under the bed. Body. Yeah, I think the thing it wants here is the knife cushion. There's the culprit hiding. I have under the bed. What's the culprit doing in the main control room? What happened when car 1 was detached? That should be blackout. So then... what happened after exiting the tunnel. I think that should be attachment to car 1. Oh, and then train detachment is the thing that goes here. It's in the control room to initiate train detachment. And then this should be, which body was found last, is Aphex. And then the last page is like, who did it? Zilch. Mystery unraveled. They even ripped this off from Danganronpa. Is it ripping it off if you made both games? I know you could argue yes, but I feel like you can also argue no.
Step right up, step right up.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we gonna rip off the punishment thing too? Is that why we don't have to worry about getting justice?
Has master in their sights. Truth bombs are about to be dropped. Time for the deduction denouement.
The incident unfolded aboard the Amaterasu Express, which was on its way to Kanai Ward. I rushed onto the train as it was about to depart. At that time, the train was made up of 5 cars.
All because you were fast asleep in the lost and found, Master. If you'd kept snoozing, the case would never be solved.
This raised Neko's earlier question of, like, if he never got on the train, would they have just killed everyone? And if that's the case, couldn't they have just killed everyone? Including us?
When the train started moving, it was only 4 cars long. The 5th and final one was left at the station.
Such an unnecessary contrivance. I get it, it works, but, like, it's just so strange.
And so, the culprit's scheme had already begun. Meaning Amaterasu Corporation was involved from the get-go.
Like, what if we had just stayed on the original car 1?
On the train, the master detectives were gathered together in car 2. That was the dining car. And the culprit had already mixed a knockout drug into every drink there.
I bet the culprit was the first person on the train, so they could prepare in advance and wait for everybody else.
I felt unwell, and Melanie went to the trouble of pouring me a coffee. But after drinking it, I started to feel drowsy. I was hearing things at the time and thought that I might be seriously ill, but it was actually the drug.
It's fine, I was just poisoned and also haunted by a death god.
Oh, so you thought yours truly was responsible? Sticks and stones won't do much to a death god, but slander stings!
The culprit sent me off to car 1 in order to frame me as the killer.
I'm sure the culprit didn't expect you to get sick, Master, but since you look like a super easy target, they probably changed their plan and went after you instead.
Once I'd left, the other master detectives must have fallen asleep because of the drugged drinks.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. If you are looking to kill everyone, why not use poison? There's definitely, like, some unnecessary contrivance to reach the point of the locked-room mystery. I don't have a good retort for that. I do enjoy this experience overall, but, like, I agree that, like, there's some stuff that, like, doesn't quite...
The culprit then burned everyone to death,
They still gloss over this like this is nothing.
setting all those master detectives on fire! On purpose! What a
purpose?
psycho!
This was when the culprit put their plan to frame me into motion. First, they carried Aphex's charred corpse to the infirmary in car 1.
The very first body we found.
Then, they deliberately left a fire extinguisher near the restroom I was sleeping in.
Good, Japanese anime glasses villain move.
This was done to prompt me into
Very
smashing the door
stereotypical.
later.
Gotta have someone get inside somehow, or else nobody would find the body.
Next, the culprit entered the infirmary, locked the door, and laid down on the bed with Aphex's charred corpse.
Jumping into bed with a charred corpse! And here I thought chivalry was dead!
I don't know how to respond to that.
What a gentleman! I'm actually a little jealous.
definitely don't know how to respond to that.
A knife and cushion created the red herring.
Hell of a way to pretend to be dead.
Furthermore, the culprit set the room on fire just as I was waking up.
I'm still not clear if this is his forte, is like pyrokinesis.
While you were sleeping, I felt someone come into the restroom. They must have seen me then and timed it.
When I woke up in the restroom and went into the hallway, Car 1 was beginning to fill with smoke.
Oh, that's some precise timing!
I caught a glimpse of Zilch in the infirmary, with a knife lodged in his chest.
But it didn't take long for the smoke to obscure everything.
That was when the culprit took out Apex's burnt corpse, switched places with it, and waited for me to enter the room while hiding beneath the bed.
It's just like a magic trick, switching places under a veil of smoke.
Meanwhile, I found the fire extinguisher on the floor. Smashed
You
the
might be
window.
belaboring some of these details at this point in the investigation, just to be clear. I don't mind the recap. I feel like the book and then a quick synopsis would probably do the trick after all the work we've done to get here, but sure.
Unlocked the room and went inside.
Just like the culprit planned. And that's why they left the fire extinguisher there in the first place.
After the smoke cleared, I found Zilch's body, burnt to a crisp. At least, that's what I thought. The charred corpse was actually Apex. The culprit had me completely fooled.
That must have been why they picked the time-consuming method of roasting someone to death. Plus, the body was about the right size.
I bolted out of Car 1 after seeing the corpse.
The culprit was under the bed at that time, huh? They probably laughed at you from there, watching everything unfold like they planned.
I went on to discover the charred corpses of the other master detectives. Around that time, the culprit came out from under the bed and went to the main control room in Car 1. Controlling the train from there, they detached Car 1.
I like there's no button or implied touchscreen. He's just sort of poking the screen for dramatic effect.
That caused the blackout and shaking, and the power source was switched over to the backup system. So when the train shook, was there or was there not jiggling in my blouse? Take a guess.
Alright, chat, take a guess.
While the detached Car 1 was running on a separate track, the culprit went to work, preparing to disguise Car 1 as Car 5.
What about the jiggling?
Oh my god.
First,
say
Apex's
no?
corpse was carried to the
I'm sorry
corridor,
I regret to
and the
inform you
necklace
you're
removed
incorrect.
earlier was placed back on.
Then the Car 1 number plate was burned so that it couldn't be properly identified.
With everything in place, the culprit went into the main control room, locked the door, and waited for the train cars to reconnect.
At this time, the culprit was riding in Car 1 on the other track, right?
Yeah, the train, which was only cars 2, 3, and 4 at the time, remained on course.
Since we were in a tunnel, I didn't even realize Car 1 was moving alongside us.
The train we were on went through the tunnel with only 3 cars. When it came out of the tunnel, the car with the culprit in it attached to Car 4.
You know, a lot of this plan actually hinges on us being in exactly what car they want us to at exactly a certain time without really directly prompting that to happen at any particular point. Like, some of it you could intuit it would happen eventually, but not necessarily at the times that you needed it to happen.
Now behind Car 4, that car became Car 5.
The swap was pre-programmed into the train's automatic operating system, right? Technology sure is convenient.
The culprit, riding in Car 1, attached it to the back of Car 4. That caused more shaking, but there was no blackout this time because the power supplies stayed the same.
Additional shaking occurred inside my blouse, but the power stayed on.
Just remove any ambiguity. the game did clarify the final mystery of the case.
After that, I mistook car 1 for car 5 and walked right in. The culprit wrecked it so much I didn't even notice the door I had smashed when I was in car 1 before.
I figured there'd been some kind of brawl. But that was part of the culprit's plan, wasn't it? Also, no one would realize it was actually car 1.
When I found the corpse, I deduced that it was Aphex from the necklace it had on. But I was just rediscovering the same charred corpse from car 1. The disguised corpse and the car switch completely fooled me.
Reusing a dead body? Oh, that's a despairingly brilliant idea!
That's aptly put, Neko. She wants to make sure the contents of her blouse never become a mystery. I mean, if we're gonna murder all mysteries anyway.
When the train arrived in Kanai Ward, it connected to a different, prearranged car 1.
We're about to do that thing where we'd start telling the story all over again, where it's like, and then I started recapping the story, in which...
And with that, the train once again had 5 cars. So much attaching and detaching. What a stupid, crazy, elaborate trick!
The peacekeepers were lying in wait at the station. As the sole survivor, I was set up as the one responsible for the murders.
And Amaterasu was in on it! That really turns me on!
Just, is that what you meant to say?
You mean pisses me off, right?
Yeah, that's causing the story to go on a loop. You know, like
During
the
that
infinite
time,
loop in the
culprit
labyrinth.
stayed hidden in the main control room of the disguised car 1. And waited for the peacekeepers to haul you in, Master. They were right there at the scene.
After burning all the master detectives, the culprit faked their own death and tried to frame me as the killer. It was a cunning, cold-blooded scheme.
And the evildoer who committed these countless contemptible crimes is none other than... Zilch Alexander!
It was you!
Drama point. I feel like the list of things that doesn't turn around is a shorter list. Seems that way.
This is the truth I've uncovered!
Cool, he's having an out-of-body experience. Now what?
Is that it? What's this?
It's taken us longer to solve the mystery than it did to live through it and gather evidence.
The truth. It's the soul of the true culprit who made this mystery labyrinth.
The soul of the true culprit?
No, you missed like 3 redundant recaps, Neko. I think we're about to blow him up or whatever is about to happen.
Wait, what am I supposed to do with this?
Now it's time for the main event!
Yeah, she's definitely gonna, like, kill him as punishment herself as a death god, right? Like, that's how this works?
Go! It's my time to shine!
Mystery's been exhausting. You're not wrong. Oh, this is so Danganronpa.
Overflowing despair. The brilliant soul of Shinigami shall expunge this cursed case. Death to all deplorables. Ruin to the vile mystery labyrinth.
Oh, the scythe has, like, an eye. Oh, and she's got, like, wings and stuff. Did she kiss it?
Crystal glorious stellar spiral.
That sounds like an Eternal Sonata finishing move. Yeah, I think we murdered that mystery. I think we nuked it from orbit. Why is there a tooltip about Swank's grill? Ah, you're right. That's what a boom kill looks like. That's why it needs its own term, because it looks like that. That's a good point, Alcades. It's a good thing we stopped time before doing
We're
that, since that took
back?
several hours.
What are you talking about now? Your spirit shouldn't be broken. Yet. The Peacekeepers will take care of you. We have all the time in the world.
Are they just putty patrollers behind him? They're like, woo! I was told not to worry about this part.
Shinigami, where are you? Nothing here's changed. What's going on?
Can I save? Okay, this feels like a... No, I can't save. They got me so good. I got pretty far in that menu before I learned that.
Shinigami, are you...
Get him!
Wait, I know who the culprit is.
What?
It's Zilch. He's still alive.
Yeah, let's
He
get
framed
groping.
me.
All we have to do is explain the extremely elaborate and implausible series of events that we proved in our head when we were having a coma of suspicion.
What are you talking about? He's already dead.
Huh? But...
Shut up! This is not up for discussion. What a waste of time. Take him away!
Shinigami, where did you go? This isn't what's supposed to happen.
I'm right here! You're so cute when you panic, so I had to enjoy the view for a bit.
Stop playing
Very healthy
around.
relationship.
Why hasn't the situation changed at all?
He must be hallucinating. Taking him down shouldn't be a problem. Take him away! What? He's dead?
Looks like it's over.
Huh? What's over? Shinigami, what's going on?
We definitely, like, reaped that guy to death, right?
There's always a price to pay. When I reap the soul of the true culprit, the mystery labyrinth created by the culprit is destroyed. But as a price, the source that created the mystery labyrinth also perishes.
The source perishes? Don't tell me.
That's right, the true culprit dies.
Then that report saying Zilch, the true culprit, was dead.
And that solves today's mystery. The true culprit is as dead as a doornail.
Does that help us, though?
You're now innocent and free to go, Master. A happy ending. Roll credits!
In what way does this not make us look more guilty? That if he was alive before and is dead now, does that not look worse for us?
There's nothing happy about this. Zilch died because I solved the mystery, right?
Huh? He was a dangerous murderer who killed 4 master detectives. He deserved to die.
I mean,
Yeah, there does
I
seem
don't
to be
think
many
I'm
problems.
completely free to go. Not even with Zilch being dead.
I fail to see how that would even help. That's not better.
In that case, say exactly what I'm about to tell you to that gilded idiot over there.
Alright, maybe this will help.
Okay. Swank, did you just receive a report that Zilch was dead?
How did you know that?
I thought so.
It's like case closed. We're doing case closed now. I love case closed. It has some better name in Japanese, but I know it as case closed.
If he was alive until moments ago, that changes things about this case. Someone who died in front of my eyes, was alive. This is clearly an attempt by the culprit to disguise the truth. Don't tell me the Peacekeepers lied to try to cover up what really happened. You didn't try to frame an innocent person, did...
What?
Nani?
You think you can weasel your way out of this? You better not forget you're in Kanai Ward now!
Forget it, Jake. It's Kanai Ward.
You're powerless before the might of the Amaterasu Corporation!
No, I didn't mean...
Hey, don't surrender so easily. You were so close.
That does it! You're under arrest! Listen, you got no right to remain silent, and you got no right to call a lawyer either! Take him away!
Those are much worse rights than I'm used to.
No, wait! Hold on just a second! Hey, excuse me. Do you have a minute?
Who is this and why are they burned and
It's all
damaged?
good. Let's stop all the fighting. We both have to follow orders from the higher-ups, so let's not do anything that causes unnecessary tension. Falsifying evidence and testimonies is a drag when it comes time to do the paperwork, right? It's tough keeping things consistent. Just forget about all that and leave it to me, yeah?
Allow me to falsify evidence.
You know, I saw that the true culprit was alive and well just a bit ago.
What?
If you let us go, I'll cook something up in my report to the World Detective Organization.
He has square eyes. That must mean
You don't
something.
want trouble, right? If the WDO floods this joint because of you. Your punishment might be kind of brutal. So, you know what to do. Leave things well enough alone, as they say.
This guy's even better at gaslighting.
Let's go!
Just to be clear, you choose to look like that, right? Most of that's, like, optional. I wonder if I'll ever be able to save the game again.
Thank goodness that worked out.
Who is he?
Beats me?
Think you got paid to look like that? You know, that's actually a pretty reasonable suspicion, Neko. I definitely believe he would do that. Although, I may be gaslighting myself because he may look like that for a different reason to convince me that that would work. Better believe I'm using all my save files. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. Well, that's definitely where that's at. It's been a long stream. I don't know, man. I'm liking this game a lot. This sure is my favorite new visual novel in a long time. Of course, we're one tutorial in after like 6 hours. But I'll say this. I've recently been playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I've already invested something like 8 hours in the tutorial, and I'm having a lot less fun doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I like this a lot. It has its problems. It may not be everyone's taste. It's a little horny for mysteries. But, like, I don't know. I feel like it genuinely strikes a good balance of a lot of the things that I don't like about, like, the Somnium games, despite the potential that they have. I mean, for example, just some of the stuff of, like, navigating the labyrinth and it defying physics and us, like, riding a giant Shinigami to bust through a bunch of obstacles. Like, all of that feels like fun stuff that we could do in Somniums because they're dreams. But we don't normally do anything very interesting in Somniums. Anyway, I don't want to belabor the point the way that this game does by recapping the entire case like 3 times in a row. I get it. It also just definitely feels like a very Japanese sort of construction to that. And I want to emphasize, like, I definitely have some minor gripes with a lot of stuff. The like, reasoning death matches, they're a little clunky. They're not the best. One thing I will say, though, I really like, they give you a lot of margin of error in this game, which I wouldn't necessarily expect, especially when you go into the dungeon and they're like, health is a resource. And they warn you that, like, basically everything causes damage to you. But, like, everything causes, like, pretty minor amounts of damage. So it's not like, again, in Somnium Files, which just kind of has a similar overall conceit and is like another recent mystery-based visual novel. Like in those games, like if you experiment a small amount with the time that you have, which is your resource in the Somnium, you can like totally get punished and like not be able to finish it and have to start the whole thing over. And yeah, the whole experience typically takes less than this dungeon did, but like also at its peak is like way less fun and interesting. So I don't know. So far, I'm really liking this. The impression I get so far is that it borrows a lot of inspiration from other things that are good. The package isn't totally perfect when all put together, but I think this is a great first step towards what I'm already kind of hoping is like a new trilogy or franchise or something, because like it's a lot of fun. It's weird. I like the mysteries. I like the characters. It's very dumb. I like it. The pacing definitely could be improved. Like, it's not perfect. Like, I'm not trying to say it's perfect. But, like, I think part of my excitement, like, I genuinely do like a lot of the specific choices here, so it's not simply the thing I'm about to say, which would sort of disparage what's good here. But the thing I will say is that I think ever since Zero Time Dilemma came out, my bar has been set lower and lower and lower by things in this genre. Like, things trying to do anything along these lines have just not impressed all that much. And I played them because I like the genre and I like some of the stuff going on, but like, as opposed to this, where it's like, I think there are genuinely some problems, minor and occasionally major, but like not game ruining. Like, I think overall, the package this game has presented thus far has been great, really exciting. When I compare this to something like Somnium Files, which had a lot of potential and a lot of goodwill going into it, like, those games are constantly trying to squander their own goodwill. They're like constantly doing stuff like specifically to be bad, and it's really exhausting. And while I don't disagree with the argument that like working the labyrinth in this tutorial is kind of exhausting, it's at least visually engaging and the dialogue and characters are fun. Like, honestly, if I tried to imagine, like, exactly this same thing, but with the exchange between, like, Date and Aiba, I just think it would be worse. It's not that I hate Date or Aiba. I have problems with both of them, and I have problems with their interactions. But, like, there's just something about these voice actors. I feel like they just understand the characters maybe a little better, or maybe it's the writing, or maybe it's some combination of the two. But, like, it just works better, even though it's trying to do something kind of similar. Anyway, again, I don't want to belabor it. It's been kind of a long stream. I'm liking this a lot. It sounds like other people mostly are too, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to say this before we bust out the secret Squirtle, and you can reiterate any of your guesses if I miss them, but I'll try to gather those in a moment. I'm thinking I might do a Dwarf Romantic stream tomorrow. It has been requested as recently as literally last Saturday. This weekend is probably going to be emotionally challenging for me, and I'm not entirely sure I'm up to the task of having to deal with some of the technical difficulties that have recently been recurring throughout Disco Elysium. And, you know, mainly those two facts together, I think it might be a good time to just bust out some Dwarf Romantic. So there's a good chance that we do that tomorrow. Next week, I think it is pretty likely that we would just return to Raincode on Friday and then probably return to Disco Elysium next Saturday. Not set in stone, but I think that's likely. But I think tomorrow's a good day for Dwarf. It seems like people are on board for that too. So let's gather those secret Squirtles and wrap up this stream. So. I see a gas behind Brown Bear. Behind Giraffe. Octopus. I just want to read this quick. Nico says, there's a lot I do like the creativity and how they changed the gameplay. To keep it visually interesting, it's
Giraffe.
over the top. Yeah, I like all of those elements, and I'm not here to try and argue the game is perfect or doesn't have flaws. Like, there are definitely multiple things I got annoyed about, but, like, I don't think any of them got me as frustrated as, like, anything in Nirvana Initiative. Even, like, the worst of the stuff doesn't come close to, like, the least of the stuff that bothered me in that game. Find the ransom. Okay, great. I will remember most of those. Just keep shouting. Standing up after 4 hours. I go with the last one first, because I remember it. Here's Lorenzo. He's our big lobster friend. He's hiding not a Squirtle, but a little rabbity guy. Oh no, at some point Eeyore fell over. I'm sorry, Eeyore. Definitely saw a guest behind Brown Bear. Let's take a look under Tunic Fox. What a good friend. Love him. I regret to inform you not a Squirtle, but the dreaded Banana Man. Someone had Rage Octopus. I think Neko also asked if I put Tiny Pirate hat on this Eevee, and I did. I did do that. It's a good fit. I liked it. I'm just knocking stuff over now. Here's our Angry Octopus. I switched him to Rage mode. We'll talk about that, maybe. Inside that was a Drifloon. It's a Pokemon, but it's not a Squirtle. It's a Ghost type. I'm missing. I feel. Oh, we got. I don't think I missed any other than the guest behind our good old-fashioned giraffe. And just to save some time, I'll make it known that that is indeed the location of our secret Squirtle. And yes, I am wearing a new shirt. And it's good. I got me a few new
Giraffe.
Mandalorian shirts for my birthday, which is nice. Makes sense you find the murder banana. Who better to murder the mysteries? Yeah, I mean, we just have to get him a big scythe to kiss and repeatedly assault his own friend or whatever. That's true, you are still VIP. And I didn't give you one of these before, so enjoy this, Neko. Great. I think that's gonna wrap up the stream because I think my brain just shut off. If you heard a loud click and then a like whoosh, that was me. That was me ceasing to function. At some point, I'm gonna have to get that really good voice clip about being horny for mysteries. That's just, I really need that. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you're enjoying it. At the moment, I definitely intend to continue playing it. There's so much to learn. Oh man, it's a wild ride. But for now, thanks for watching. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being you. And I hope to see you again soon. As I stated, I think tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a Dorf romantic break. Do some Hex and chill. Then next week back with a pair of mysteries, probably. So, until the next time I see you, remember to take care of yourselves. And also that you are clawsome.